It's cftigers.org.
Is that it?
This one doesn't have a
I don't
sticker.
know. Just over here. Oh, no. It's the speaker.
Good evening. It's 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, May 13th. I'll call to order this regular meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls City School District Board of Education. Ms. Stoiko, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Here.
Ms. White?
Here.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Here.
Thank you. Item B is approval of the agenda. Number one is a motion to approve the agenda. It's recommended the Board of Education approves the agenda of the May 13th, 2026 Board of Education meeting. Action by the Board of Education, adoption of the consent agenda means that all items are adopted by one singular motion, unless a member of the Board of Education, treasurer, or superintendent requests that any such item be removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Thank you. Item C is our opening ceremony. Number one are our informational items. This meeting is a meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not a public community meeting, although there are opportunities for public participation. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic found on the meeting agenda, the individual must complete a registration form found inside the attendance notebook and present it to the treasurer. Following the introduction of the topic by the board president, followed by board discussion, the individual will be recognized. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic not found on the meeting agenda, they must notify the superintendent and or board president of the topic no later than 3 business days in advance of the meeting. These individuals may share their comments during the board business portion of the agenda. In both cases, the individual will preface comments by announcement of their name and address and limit comments to 3 minutes. All statements should be directed to the board president. No person may address or question board members individually. An unabridged board agenda for this meeting can be found on your electronic device at the address shown on the screen. And for your convenience, hard copies of the board agenda may be found on the table by the sign-in book. And there's also something extra there tomorrow night. Do you want to address that,
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gomez. We have a copy of Cuyahoga Falls legislative contacts of our state representatives and our state senators in the area. As you all know, public education is under attack, so we urge you all to help push things forward here and make your voices heard. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. The next Finance Committee meeting is May 19th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. at the Board of Education offices at 405 Talmadge Road. And the next Policy Committee meeting is May 20th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. at the Board of Education offices. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education is May 27th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. here in the Black Box Theater, 2630 13th Street. Now for our pledge and welcome, Mrs. Schaefer.
Please stand as you're able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome. Our vision, Cuyahoga Falls City School District, the hub of our community, committed to a culture of caring. We innovate, we create, we personalize education for all. Our mission, every student, every day, every opportunity.
Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer. We have a number of exciting presentations tonight and great things to celebrate and great students to honor. And first up is our gifted student recognition. I invite up Mrs. Belko.
Good evening, members of the board, administrators, families, students, staff. Tonight we celebrate the accomplishments of exceptional students who have demonstrated dedication and perseverance, leadership and academic excellence, and a commitment to enrichment and personal growth. Their achievements reflect not only their hard work, but also the support of their families, teachers, and our school community. We are proud to recognize the positive impact they have made in our schools. I would like to start with our third graders, our third grade Black Tigers, and specifically they are National Math Stars. So the National Math Stars, our National Math Stars program recognizes students with exceptional mathematic talent, problem-solving ability, and enthusiasm for mathematics. Before I call the students up, I wanted to share a quick video to give you a little recap of what the program's about. It's new of this year to Cuyahoga Falls. I discovered it just this year, so it's kind of exciting. But this will give you a brief recap of the organization.
Hi there. I'm Ilana, CEO and founder of National Math Stars. I'm so excited to congratulate you on being nominated as a National Math Star. You stood out among all of the students across your district and scored in the top 2% of young mathematicians in your grade. That's amazing. Your community sees something special in the way you solve problems, think creatively, and love learning. This nomination is just the beginning of an incredible journey, and all of us at National Math Stars are so proud of you. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep shining bright.
So she said the top 2%. So the students that I'm going to call up were in the top 2% of their entire grade. They took a nationally normed test last year in the spring as second graders, and that's where the numbers were derived from. So I want to recognize those top 2%. Mason Adler. Jackson Ambuski. Braden Tingler. Hannah Peterson. I'm not sure she's here tonight. And Evelyn Wolk. There you are. Okay. And I do want to mention that Evelyn scored a perfect score on her OST. If you guys want to just stand up here for a minute, and then we're going to get your picture at the end, okay? Come on. Yeah, congratulations. Okay. In continuing our math recognition, I'd like to also mention that we are, this year we moved our 24 tournament to a bigger audience, and we moved from a district competition to competing against 6 other schools at Copley Fairlawn Middle School in February. And so we took our top 9 students, our top 9 third and fourth graders, and they went to a tournament with 84 other students, 6 different school districts, and our top student, Ella Crean, fourth grader, want to come out? Ella scored in the Sweet 16 spot. Congratulations. Okay, moving on, I think, we're at the Stop the Hate. So last year we introduced a new program. It was the Stop the Hate Poetry and Essay Contest sponsored through the Maltz Museum. And this year we also participated, and we had a 3rd place winner for our poetry, and that was Christina Chetry. Is Christina here? So I do want to note, I don't think she's here, but over 3,000 participants in this competition. So there was a lot of students that participated in this writing song lyrics and essays and poetry. So she did a really great job, and she was 3rd place. All right. Moving on, we introduced the spelling bee this year, a middle school spelling bee. And it was following a round of classroom tests where we narrowed it down to 24 students across 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And those 24 students basically had a real spelling bee where they got up, stood up in front of an audience in an auditorium, and did the script spelling bee. So it was really exciting. It was probably nerve-wracking for those. But out of those 24 kids, our champion was Noah Walker, 8th grader Noah Walker. Come on down. Noah's winning word was decimation. Decimation. All right. Moving on to our Power of the Pen. So this is our second year participating in the Power of the Pen, and this is a timed creative writing competition where a team of 6 8th graders and 6 7th graders compete against other students across the state. We obviously started in Northeast Ohio, and they are timed. It's a 40-minute round, and they do that 3 times at a tournament, so it's pretty intense. From that competition, we had 3 regional qualifiers. One was Noah Walker, 8th grader Noah Walker, Riley Kennedy, and Brooklyn Payne. I'm not sure if Brooklyn's here. There she is. And give her a minute to get down here. I also want to note that both Riley and Noah won the best of round writing at the district tournament. So that qualified them to move automatically to the state level, and that's what they will be doing on Monday. They're going to go to Ashland University and compete in the state Power of the Pen tournament. Additionally, those best of round pieces were nominated as Platinum Pen, and a Platinum Pen gets you published in the Book of Winners. So we will have 2 published authors. I think that's it. Should we have a line up here?
Sure. Where's Miss Stewart? Are we doing a picture after? Where's Miss Stewart? We're doing pictures after
Top Tiger.
Yep. So
Okay.
if you can just wait, and then afterwards, we're all going to leave and get pictures taken, okay? Nope, they can go back to their seats.
Okay, you guys can go back to your seats.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Wonderful. Next, I'd like to invite up Mrs. Hausman for our preschool recognition.
Thank you, President Gomez, Vice President Schaefer, board members, Dr. Selico, Mrs. Stoikoi, community members, and colleagues. We have something truly special to celebrate, and so I'd like to invite anyone that is attached to launching our preschool to please join me. If you want to line up over here or maybe around the back of the room, we'll make a big L, so if you can join me, please. So that'd be preschool staff members, administration, special education, treasurer, superintendent, registration, anyone that was part of launching our new preschool. Yes, anyone that works there, anyone. Come on up. Thank you, Ms. Seaman. Bring everyone. Ms. Bogdan, you help hire all these people. Come on. Oh, I know it. You'll get me later. Our preschool has officially earned the Step Up to Quality Gold rating. While this is the highest honor a preschool can receive in Ohio, what makes it truly incredible is that we achieve this as a brand new program. Usually it takes years for a school to find its rhythm, but our team reached the top tier of excellence right out of the gate. There were many preschools that tried for this new rating, and they did not succeed, and we were one of the few in the area that did. Across Ohio, only about 25% of programs have reached the gold status. The state recently changed the Step Up to Quality rules, shifting from a simple checklist to a much more challenging system. It isn't just about having a safe classroom anymore, it's about proving that our teaching is making a measurable difference in the lives of our children. Meeting these new rigorous requirements was a massive task, but our team did it with passion and heart. This success was made possible by the vision of our superintendent, Dr. Selico, who championed the creation of this program as an important resource for our families. And with the full support of the Board of Education, with the resources and the support that you gave us, the tools, the space, prioritizing early childhood excellence, we appreciate all of your support. Their belief that our youngest learners deserve a world-class start provided the foundation for this gold rating. And although Mrs. Sabaticki, our director of the program, could not attend tonight, we congratulate her on her leadership and success of this new program. We couldn't have done it without her. We also have to give a huge shout out to the people who did the lifting before our first student ever arrived, walked through the door. Launching a preschool from scratch is no small feat, and our registration, special education, and treasurer's departments really were the unsung heroes behind all the processes. They were in the trenches early on, setting up a registration system that actually made sense for parents, making sure our classrooms were ready to welcome every single learner with the right support, and navigating the complex business side of a new state program. Because they did such a great job building that foundation, our teachers, our staff, administration were able to hit the ground running on day one. We also owe a huge debt of gratitude to our maintenance and building departments. Achieving this rating required meeting incredibly strict state licensure and safety. Our facilities team worked tirelessly behind the scenes, preparing the school, handling complex equipment updates, and ensuring every square inch of our campus met the highest standards for health and safety. This gold rating is also a direct reflection of the incredible teamwork happening in our classrooms every day. Our teachers, related service providers, paraprofessionals, administrative assistants have worked hand in hand as one cohesive team, ensuring that every child receives the specialized support and attention they need to grow. Because these departments and staff members did such a great job building that foundation and working together, our educators were able to begin their work. Since day one, our teachers, staff, and administration have worked hand in hand. They have meticulously organized student progress, tracked every developmental milestone, and made sure that our classroom environment supports the unique needs of every single learner. An essential component of this success was our team's dedication to learning Frog Street curriculum. This was a brand new requirement that we had to change our curriculum for this year. Even while opening a new school, they were dedicating themselves to mastering the brain-based way of learning. They learned how to turn every song, story, and science experiment into a powerful, teachable moment. So to our staff, to all of you who are here today, and for those who may not be here with us tonight, you didn't just open a preschool. You opened an award-winning program. You've shown that even a new program can lead the way when there is a shared vision for our children. Thank you for your hard work, your late nights of planning, and providing that gold foundation for our littlest learners from day one. Congratulations to our amazing team on this historic achievement. Thank you.
Next up, we have our athletic recognition. Dr. Selico, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Still, all right, still there, right? Okay, well, I am actually presenting these awards this evening on behalf of Mr. Johnson, who would typically be here, our athletic director, but he is at an event this evening, so he was unable to be with us. But he did leave me some notes, and our certificates are ready to go. So at this time, I'd like to recognize our winter sports athletes that are here with us tonight. So as I call your name, please come forward and stay up here. I know you're going to be a little taller than the last group we just had, so just don't block my view so everybody can see me and the people I give awards to, all right? Okay, so here we are. Tonight we are proud to recognize several outstanding student athletes for their accomplishments during the winter sports season. These athletes represented our school with tremendous dedication, hard work, leadership, and success throughout the year. From our boys basketball program, we would like to recognize senior Hayden Johnson. Hayden? Thanks. All right. Hayden, we're going to talk about you for a minute, had an exceptional season on the court and earned recognition at the league, district, and state levels for his accomplishments throughout the year. Hayden was named first team All-Suburban League, second team All-Northeast District, and honorable mention All-Ohio. Congratulations to Hayden on your outstanding basketball season. Congratulations. Okay. Moving along to our girls basketball program, we would like to recognize junior Casey Lee. Casey earned first team All-Suburban League honors and was also named honorable mention All-Northeast District for her outstanding performance this season. Congratulations, Casey, on a tremendous year. Good job. All right. Next, we have from our bowling program, we would like to recognize junior Jonathan Roche. Congratulations. Here you go. This is for you as well. Okay. See, I told you guys were taller than that last group. Jonathan had an incredible season, earning first team All-Suburban League honors and being named the Suburban League Bowler of the Year. He was also selected first team All-Northeast District and qualified for the regional tournament this season. Congratulations, Jonathan, on an outstanding accomplishment-filled year. So congratulations to you. From our swimming program, we would like to recognize sophomore Reed Turney and junior Tyler Eisentraut. Let me see who looks like a Tyler and who looks like a Reed. Oh. You know how I knew? You did. You kind of gave a clue. I saw it. I saw it. Thank you. All right. Reed earned first team All-Suburban League honors and qualified for the district meet this season. So congratulations to you, Reed, on a great year in the pool. Tyler had an exceptional season, earning first team All-Suburban League and first team All-Northeast District honors. Tyler also qualified for the state championships in the 500 freestyle event this year as well. So congratulations to Tyler on an outstanding season. Great work. Finally, this may surprise some of you, you may not even know it exists, but finally from our wrestling program, oh, I'm not bringing up a young man here, I'm going to bring up sophomore Brianna Popovich. Brianna? How many of you knew there was a girls wrestling league? How many knew? That's right. All right. Brianna made school history this season by becoming our first ever state qualifier in girls wrestling. She also earned first team All-Northeast District honors. Congratulations to you, Brianna, on this historic accomplishment and an incredible season. Good for you. Congratulations to all of you. It is so great to see you all up here. We're sorry for the delay. We're talking about winter sports, although I don't know, this weather's not really convincing me that it's spring just yet, so we're not, I guess, too far away from that. But I apologize for the delay. But I'd like to ask everyone to just join me again in congratulating all of these student athletes for their hard work, dedication, and accomplishments during the winter sports season. We are extremely proud of each and every one of you and look forward to your continued success, both in competition and in the classroom. Congratulations. Stick around for photos, though. We're almost one more recognition, then we're all going to get pictures together.
Okay. I'll
Right.
invite Dr. Selko to stay up there for our top Tigers.
Yes, thank you. And Ms. Zimmerman, I believe you're helping me this evening? All right, well, good evening again. Where are my top Tigers? Raise your hand. Let's see it. All right. No, not adults, just kids. No, I'm kidding. I didn't see any adults raise their hand. I'm just teasing. All right, so how many of you, this is your first time as a top Tiger, parents or family members, first time being recognized, one of your children? All right, very good. Okay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the Top Tiger Award. It's given by our Board of Education to students from each building each month, and the students are chosen by various staff members in their buildings. And I get the honor of reading about each one of those students. So I'm going to ask, now this is different every time, you never know what you're going to get, because sometimes we're in the auditorium, sometimes we're in the black box, sometimes rooms are available, sometimes they're not. So let's see how we do, and if I'm wrong, Mrs. Stewart, correct me. But as we call your name, students, here's what you're going to do. You're going to come forward, you're going to stand right here. Mrs. Zimmerman is going to help give you some goodies, and I would be remiss if I did not mention this, because Mrs. Carlisle wanted to point out to me that she's not only given me this one time, but she's given it to me 3 times. Thank you. That you will all be getting a Top Tiger sign that you can put in your yard or a window to display. So that's compliments of our teachers union. So thank you for that, Mrs. Carlisle. Okay, so when you come up and you get all these great things, I'm going to read a little bit about you, and then you're going to come behind me, and you'll see Miss Stewart here. She's going to take your picture. All right, so students will get your picture taken. All right, and then I also want to point out that what's in these bags are also are things that are given to us from a number of generous community sponsors, including our Cuyahoga Falls Schools Foundation and Alumni Association. So we want to thank them and our partners for all that they do to support our students. So after you get your picture taken, you will go back and sit in your seats, and then from there we'll have more directions on where we'll go to pick up the rest of your goodies and t-shirt, I believe, and a picture. So I'll hold off because I'll tell you that now, and then in 20 minutes you may not remember if you're like me. So we'll do that later. And also at this time I'd like to call forward Ann Stormer, who's going to speak to you from the foundation. So thank you, Ann.
Good evening. My name is Ann Stormer, and I am proud to serve as a trustee in the Cuyahoga Falls Foundation and Alumni Association. We are one of the sponsors for the Top Tiger Awards. In addition to Top Tigers, each year the foundation awards over $150,000 in student scholarships, award grants to teachers for innovating classroom projects, and helps connect alumni by assisting with class reunions and class websites. Each May, we also recognize 2 to 3 distinguished alumni and host a recognition program and reception. All of our Top Tigers are invited to march with us in the Memorial Day Parade. Tonight, after the Top Tigers, so should I tell them where to go or just wait? Yeah, okay, sorry, we were gonna tell you, but we'll skip on that part. So we're gonna take the photo. The adults that will be accompanying students, we will give you a folder that explains a little bit more about the foundation. We encourage you to look through the information in that folder, and please consider becoming a member of the foundation. On behalf of the Cuyahoga Falls Schools Foundation and Alumni Association, we congratulate all of the Top Tigers on earning this very special recognition. We are proud of each and every one of you and look forward to seeing you in the Memorial Day Parade. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have other members of our foundation here, Genevieve and Chris Schrader, right? So we appreciate you being here as well and all the support that they've given to our students. You heard, I believe the number is 166,000 in scholarships. Amazing. So 166,000 just this year. Yep. All right. Been waiting very patiently. Are we ready? Yeah. Top Tigers, are you ready? Yeah. Let's hear it just from you. Top Tigers, you ready? Now, I'm probably going to be reading things that are like, they're enthusiastic, they're sweet, they're this, and then no one even said anything to be excited. Where's that enthusiasm? All right, we'll get started. We won't delay any further. All right, we're going to begin with the high school. So our first student from Cuyahoga Falls High School is Jenna Hujar. stand here. All right. Jenna is an outstanding role model for her peers at the high school. This year, in her AP Literature and Composition class, Jenna has shown a dedication to academic achievement, especially during the last few months of her senior year. She is an active participant in class, never misses an assignment, and is always kind and respectful towards her classmates. Jenna's ability to gracefully balance her academics and activities, including cosmetology, the yearbook, and her involvement as both a dancer and a student teacher at the dance studio, wow, is admirable. Jenna represents her Black Tiger pride on a daily basis and has excelled both in the classroom and in the greater school community. Congratulations, very nice. Our second student this evening from the high school is Owen Liggett. Hey, Owen. Owen has demonstrated perseverance and resilience in AP Literature and Composition. You guys classmates? Let's look at this. I knew it. And plus friends, that's amazing. And is a fantastic representation of Black Tiger pride. No matter what personal challenges he experienced this year, Owen has always come to class with a positive attitude and a smile on his face, ready to give his very best effort. It would be an understatement to say that Owen always participates. In fact, he usually drives the class discussions and is the first person to volunteer to read aloud, especially when the class reads plays. Owen's enthusiasm for life is infectious and evident in just about everything he says and does. Whether he is complimenting his classmates, supporting his friends, or greeting customers at Dairy Queen, Owen's kindness has made an impact. I might have gone there before this meeting to cram in a hamburger. I did. All right, congratulations. Yeah, all right, moving along to the middle school. Our first student is Loli Bauvard. Did I get your name right? Bovard? I had a feeling. All right, so sorry, as I said it, I was like, that's probably not right. So it's Loli Bovard. Take two. All right. Loli is the definition of a lead-by-example student. While her academic achievements speak for themselves, it is her kindness and work ethic that sets her apart. She has a unique ability to lift others up while pushing herself to new heights, proving daily that she is much more than just a student. She is a leader. Her presence makes our community stronger, and we are so proud to have her representing her sixth grade team, the Crew. Congratulations. All right, and our second student from the middle school is Chase Essenberg. Chase? Hey, Chase. Chase didn't start his year in Cuyahoga Falls, but he has acted as if he has been a Black Tiger his entire life. He quickly acclimated to our culture, becoming a pillar of our school community. Chase is a student who is engaged, asks questions, and approaches every lesson with excellence. His ability to maintain high standards while encouraging his classmates to reach their own potential is a testament to his character. Way to show Black Tiger pride, Chase. Congratulations. All right, we're moving on to our elementary school. Our first school is DeWitt, and our first student to recognize is Maximiliano Martinez Leon. There he is. I was like, I wonder if he goes by Max. Am I right? Yeah, and I knew that because it says it right here. But I did wonder, because I'm like, that's a long name. Can you spell it? You can? Okay. How old were you when you could first spell your name? Like 5, 6? How old are you now? 6? Okay. All right. Well, then we'll go with like 5. How's that? All right, Max, you ready? All right, Max. Max has been a shining example for our classroom since the very beginning of the school year. He has worked very hard at making good choices and demonstrating excellent behavior, all while learning and speaking English. His confidence and exuberance are contagious, and he loves to share his thoughts and ideas with classmates and teachers alike. Max is funny, smart, and most importantly, kind to everyone. He follows all the tenets of Black Tiger pride by being respectful to all, taking responsibility for his actions, and practicing safety inside and outside DeWitt. Max is a quiet leader who listens, follows directions, and helps others. Keep up the good work, Max. Good job, buddy. All right, our next student at DeWitt is Grace Wood. Grace? Grace has got her power walk on. Atta girl. Come here, Grace. All right. Grace began her kindergarten year a little reserved, quiet and shy. Now she has moved past the shyness and participates when others are afraid of being wrong. She is also friendly and responsible. Grace often helps a peer clean up without being asked and without expecting a reward. She also can be heard giving emotional support and saying kind words like nice try or good job to friends that may need them. Grace, we are looking forward to seeing what you achieve in the future. Is that your baby? I can't tell if that's a boy or girl. Is that a baby brother or sister? A baby girl, baby sister? Do you ask to help mom at home too with her? Perfect answer. Good job. All right. Good girl. All right. Aw, it's a real tiny baby, huh? How old? 2 weeks. Oh, congratulations. Aw, we're happy you're here. Anytime I can get a peek at a baby, I'm happy. All right. Okay, our next student is from Lincoln Elementary, and the first student is Carter Ashford. Carter? That smile. Love that smile. All right, right here, bud. Last year, Carter faced some hurdles. Move up here, honey. Let's get a little, there we go, so everybody can see that smile. Last year, Carter faced some hurdles. When tasks became difficult, the frustration was often overwhelming. However, this year, his teachers noticed a remarkable transformation. Carter has created a never-give-up attitude and has truly taken his learning into his own hands. By finding the courage to use his words and advocate for help when he needs it, he has moved from a place of struggle to one of empowered independence. What makes his growth even more special is the kindness Carter shows to everyone around him. He has become a natural helper, always looking for ways to support his peers and lift up others with a gentle spirit. Way to go, bud. Good job. All right, our next student from Lincoln is Avery Osman. Hello. That is a great pendant. Necklace. Okay. Avery is a standout second grader who navigates her world with a beautiful smile and an exceptionally kind heart. This year, her dedication to her studies has truly paid off as she has consistently earned all A's and B's in her schoolwork. Avery is a shining example of Black Tiger pride, stepping up as a natural leader. She is particularly known for her empathy, often going out of her way to reach out to new students to ensure they feel welcome and included from day one. Though she has many talents, she currently dreams of becoming a cashier when she grows up, combining her love for math with her passion of interacting with people. That is pretty perfect. Thank you, Avery, for being an outstanding example of leadership, kindness, and positivity at school. Congratulations. Our next school is Preston, and our first student has a great name, Winter Walters. I love that. Winter, are you here? All right. That flows so nicely. Winter Walters. I love it. This way, sweetie. Here we are. Nice. Oh, look at you. All right. Are you in 5th grade? No. No. Kindergarten. Okay. She told me. All right, well, I thought maybe you were in 5th grade. All right, ready? Winnie, I love that too. That's her. Is that your nickname, Winnie? I love it. Okay, Winnie doesn't just show Black Tiger pride, she lives it. Winnie brings a level of dedication to her schoolwork that is second to none. Winnie also shows her kindness by always looking for ways to support her peers and brighten someone's day with her personality. Her thoughtfulness is a testament to her character and is an absolute joy to have in the classroom. Winnie, I think I saw you at the zoo yesterday. Did I see you at the zoo? I thought so. You look familiar. Congratulations. Good job. All right, and our second student from Preston this evening is Hudson Zerby. Hudson. Hudson consistently shows up to school each day with a smile on his face. Yep, check. And he is always willing to give 110% effort in all that he does. He is so kind to everyone he meets and will always go the extra mile to make sure all his classmates feel loved and cared for. Hudson is such a great addition to his kindergarten class, and it has been an absolute pleasure to have him in class this year. You're pretty tall for kindergarten. Good job, bud. All right, our next school is Price, and our first student is Maridi Sunar. How'd I do on the name? Good. Yeah, all right. Ismaridi has made phenomenal academic progress, has an unstoppable drive, and has a generous spirit. She has proven that with hard work and a positive attitude, any obstacle can be overcome. Beyond her academic success, her polite manners and eagerness to help organize or clean the classroom makes her teacher's learning space a brighter place for everyone. Ismaridi is a rare fourth grader who is not only dedicated to her own incredible academic growth, but also is so invested in taking care of their classroom, classmates, and teachers. Keep up the great work. Good job. All right, and our next student from Price is Brandon Williams. Brandon? Whoa. What grade are you in? Fifth, I knew it. I could have said kindergarten to be silly, but we knew that wasn't right. You're pretty tall. All right, Brandon, come here. All right, let's embarrass you a little bit, okay? Brandon is a well-rounded person in and out of the classroom with a genuine heart, athletic talent, I see it, and unyielding effort. His quiet, friendly nature is a powerful presence, proving that true strength doesn't have to be loud and that character matters just as much as accomplishment. Whether you are showcasing your skills on the field or tackling a challenging assignment, you never give up and persevere when the work becomes difficult. Brandon, we appreciate your quiet determination and hope you always stay true to the special characteristics that make you a leader in our community. Congratulations, bud. I think he is quiet, I could tell. All right. Moving along to Richardson, our first student is Isla McGinnis. Isla? Yeah, that's sparkly, pretty. All right. Isla truly embodies what it means to be a black tiger. She is a ray of sunshine in our classroom and approaches each day with a smile. Yep, we got it. Isla shows consistent kindness and care to her peers and teachers and is well loved in our classroom because of it. She is always the first person to offer others a helping hand and goes out of her way to ensure everyone is included. Isla is hardworking, empathetic, creative, helpful, and a great friend and leader. I am proud to know Isla and to have watched her bloom this year in kindergarten. Way to go. All right. All right, and our second student from Richardson is Nolan McGuire. Nolan? Hi, Nolan. Nolan is an extraordinary student. From the very first day of kindergarten, he has been a leader. He always tries his best in class, helps others when needed, and shows kindness to everyone he encounters. Throughout the year, Nolan challenges himself and others, all while helping create a welcoming classroom environment for everyone who enters. Nolan loves to be silly and spend time with his friends, both in and out of the classroom. He also enjoys sports, which keep him busy outside of school. Keep showing that black tiger pride. Congratulations. All right, moving along to Silver Lake. Okay, thanks for your patience. Here we are. Our first student is Owen Flock. Owen? Long way, huh, bud? All right. Owen is an absolute joy to have in our kindergarten classroom. He distinguishes himself as a standout student through his attentive listening and his dedication to every task he undertakes. He is a true leader who lives out Black Tiger pride every single day, setting a wonderful example for his peers to follow. Above all, Owen's kindness is a gift to our class. He is consistently respectful, courteous, and mindful of others. He is truly deserving of this honor. All right, and our next student from Silver Lake is Avery Schwartz. Oh, you got down here quickly. Class of 2038. Wow. Let's do the math on that. I'd rather not, but all right. Okay, I will be long retired. Throughout this year, Avery has been a shining example of Black Tiger pride. She doesn't just show up to learn, she actively builds a more positive, supportive, and kind environment for everyone around her. Whether she is taking the initiative to keep our classroom organized or showing care for our shared space, her sense of responsibility is truly impressive. While she may be one of the quieter students, Avery speaks volumes through her creative writing and artistic expression. Watching her find her voice and achieve such significant academic growth has been a highlight of the year. We are so proud of you. Congratulations. All right. All right. Saving the youngest for last. How cruel is that? Our preschooler has waited all this time to be announced. And our student from preschool, we do one student each month from preschool. That's our new addition. You heard about our outstanding program and so proud of their successes. But our student this evening to be recognized is Amos Ramdan. See, he got tired of waiting. He probably left us. No, I'm kidding. We will certainly follow up with Amos. I know the staff is here. Did anybody see him? Okay, well, we'll make a big deal out of that for him when he returns to school. I know you all will. I know that group. Okay, well, congratulations to him as well. All right, well, what I'd like to just close with a couple remarks. Every time I read these, we generally see common themes throughout. And how many times do we hear the word kindness and empathy, right? And that we're kind to others, and that warms my heart, I hope, as it warms all of yours. In a world that can be difficult, it's great to see kindness, that our children exhibit that to one another and to their teachers and are respectful. And that credit is just as much deserved for all of you in this room for raising your children. So please, a round of applause for you. And lastly, I just want to point out all the staff members that are here. They come this evening. We have many folks that come out each month to recognize our students, our principals, our staff, our admin assistants, teachers, of just a variety of people. So would you please stand to be recognized, staff that are here this evening? Very nice. Thank you. I know some of you didn't stand. I'll talk to you later. All right. So with that said, again, congratulations to everyone this evening. I'm so incredibly proud of all of you, and just for making Cuyahoga Falls such a great place to work and to go to school. So thank you. And now what we're going to do, we got to follow these directions. See if I can give them correctly. All right, so we're changing our normal procedures, because typically we would be in the auditorium and come here, or we would go here and go in another room, and all these rooms are being occupied. So here's what's going to happen.
Do you want to give the direction?
Oh, I'm so offended. I'm not.
We were just talking to each other about why we weren't sure why you were left up there to give
I know. Yep, it's true. See, I can make jokes about others, but they give them right back to me. So, all right, I'll give it to Miss Stewart. All right, let's see how you do. I'm going to stand here and see how you do.
So we are going to have all of our families take pictures, the groups of students that we're all, and our preschool staff. We are going to the learning stairs, which is in our student dining area. So it's going to be a little bit of a walk, but you get to see the beautiful campus if you haven't already been in the inner parts of our 6th grade wing. So the way we can get there, and Mr. Elder, who is right there, he'll kind of be the beginning of the tour guide. I just voluntold him that. And you can either go out these stairs down here where Mr. Elder is, or out here. If you are unable to do stairs, you can exit out this door and turn to your right. There's a ramp. Otherwise, there's a few stairs that go down. regardless, you're going to turn right and you'll just keep following the hallway. You really can't get lost going this way. And then, well, unless you're Dr. Selico, then you might get lost. And then we'll go down, there'll be stairs and some learning stairs, which will act as our risers. And from there, what we'll do is we'll do our top tigers first, since we have some of our youngest students. And then you can make the trek all the way back up. And there's a room that you're going to pass where you'll see the foundation is going to be waiting for you for the yard sign and your t-shirts. So, because you'll have to make your way back here to get out to the parking lot. So if you're looking to get steps in this evening, you've come to the right place.
Perfect.
How did I do?
Okay, we're ready for presentation number 5, gifted update. Ms. Belka?
All right, you tired of me yet?
No.
First, I would like to begin by expressing my gratitude to the Board of Education for your continued support of our district's gifted programming. Your commitment to meeting the diverse needs of all learners has allowed us to move from vision to implementation in meaningful ways over the last 2 years. This year, we've made additional progress in building and refining a gifted program that both challenges and supports our advanced learners. This year alone, we have served approximately 430 elementary and middle school students through enriching programming opportunities. We have also seen increased participation in AP assessments and CCP courses. Go back one. So our gifted identification has also increased from 2024. We went from 828 to 853. So that's a plus. That looks better on our report cards. And this progress, of course, is a direct result of your support, trust, and investment in ensuring that every student has access to opportunities that foster their full potential. Tonight, I look forward to continuing to share with you the growth that we've experienced this year. So in our Honors ELA classes, we also increased our enrollment from 202 to 223 from last year. So there's extra kids jumping into those programs and experiencing that enrichment that we're trying to provide them. Our math accelerations, we've also increased those. We had 79 8th grade students take algebra. There were 3 8th grade high school geometry students that actually went and took the course at the high school with our high school teachers. But additionally, we had 4 8th grade students who did an independent study, and all 4 of them passed. So they're going to move on to Algebra 2, and they're super excited. They were just thrilled. And then we also have an 8th grader who took Algebra 2. So we're definitely seeing some rigor there and some kids that are really pushing themselves. You met these 2 fine young children, 8th graders, our Power of the Pen State qualifiers, Riley and Noah. And as I mentioned earlier, they were Platinum Pen finalists. So their last stories, their best of show stories are going to be published in the Power of the Pen book, which is really cool. We expanded and included a middle school spelling bee this year. That's new this year. I'm hoping next year to increase that to our elementary levels as well. Our Stop the Hate competition that we participated in last year, as I mentioned, we did that again this year, but we also had a culminating event where we took our 7th and 8th graders to the Maltz Museum for the tour, and it's a Jewish heritage museum, so it was very informative. The kids got a lot out of it. Oh, wait a minute, I have something I have to give you guys because I cut off the actual important part of that. So I'm going to pass this down this way. What I wanted to point out was the yellow bar there where it says 28, I think it's, I can't read it now. Hold on a second, let me. Our AP assessments at 5.8% last year, that was how many students took the test. This year, 23.9% took the AP test, which is what we want to see. If you're going to take the course, we want you to take the test. So that was an improvement. We also saw more students that earned 3 or more college credits, and that's the orange line. So that went from 14% to 27.5%. And I attribute that to just communication with our students and letting them know what the opportunities are out there and encouraging them to push themselves. Christina Chetri was unable to join us today, but she is our 8th grade student who won the poetry contest for Stop the Hate, and she walked off with $200. Not today, but at the competition. And I also wanted to note that the finalists for the poetry and essay contest, so in this case, Christina, her poem will be published and available in all the Cuyahoga County libraries because it's a Cuyahoga County event. But if you're in Cleveland and you happen to be in a library, her book will be available. I'm going to see if we can get them over here too. Our regional event, we moved to a regional event from our 24 tournament that was just in-house last year. We moved to the regional event, and you can see our participation increased here too from 75 students to over 120 students in 2025 and 2026. And there we are. That was our first competition in January at Preston. And our Fair Lawn tournament. We took 9 third graders and 9 fourth graders. And we have the return of the Reading Writing Festival this year. I'm not moderating it. We have a teacher that's moderating it, but we were excited to bring it back. And as I mentioned, the all-new this year was the Math Stars. The thing I wanted to mention about the Math Stars is that there's scholarships involved. So the students that came up and were the 2% that received their certificates today, their parents enrolled them in the program, and they have just opportunities basically throughout their educational career to earn scholarship money through this program. It's just a great opportunity. So this is the process. They were nominated because they were in the top 2%, and then they moved to the finalists and the stars based on their grades, their achievement on their Iowa tests. And that's pretty much it. Again, thank you for your advocacy and the dedication to our students, our gifted students, and I appreciate your time and listening to me babble today. Thank you.
Any questions, board?
I do have a question. How are the honors sections working with the pods and the team teaching model in middle school? Are they working well within that framework?
From my perspective, they seem that is the case. Each of the pods will this year have an honors class in each of the pods this year. I think that's going to change next year, but I'm not sure the dynamics of that based on the population of kids. But as far as I know, I think everything went pretty smoothly.
Because I think we're going to the 4-3-2 model next year, correct?
The teams?
Yeah. Instead of 4-4-4.
I'm not sure how it'll impact, I don't know the answer off the top of my head.
Also, they really shared a lot of their practices and things they're doing in the honor DLA, and so many of our DLA teachers we have across all their courses, so that was exciting. So they are collaborating, not just within the honors, they're also collaborating with other DLA teachers. That's great.
I think you raised a good point. As we look forward, as with the reductions we've made, to make sure that those opportunities are still there, Mrs. Zimmerman. It's a very good point to bring up. Because we don't want them all clustered into one pod, because as we know, that's part of why we changed to this model of gifted, because we want peers to be spread out and different peers to have different experiences amongst all learning experiences and learning levels, because we've learned that that's what's really beneficial to all learners. Any other questions?
No, just to thank you, Ms. Belko, for implementing all these things. I was a part of reading and writing workshop when I taught Power of the Pen and Odyssey of the Mind, which I think is not anymore. But I really appreciate the time and the effort you put into our gifted program. Not that I'm gifted, I'm not. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's very evident of what we were,
Yes.
what we saw to this evening, and all the students we were recognizing. So just thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And then I'll invite up Mrs. Hausman and the literacy coaches for our early literacy update.
First, I want to thank Ms. Belko. She's a quiet leader, and she just puts her head down and does her work. And then when she shares all her wonderful evidence of her work, it's really exciting. So thank you, Ms. Belko, thank you.
And it ties very well into this piece because
Yes.
of what she's taking on behalf of the district
Yes.
next year with the
Yes, she's gonna
middle
be
school
helping with the
literacy
middle
piece.
school.
Yeah, so
So-
it all ties together.
So we have, again, 3 literacy coaches that are working at the K-5 level. They do so many things for our teachers and our administrators and our students. They are hands-on still with our students, helping them in many ways. They're coaching teachers. They're supporting administrators, leading day-to-days, doing so many things. And we have some really, exciting news that we'll be sharing today. So thank you for having us here.
I'm Tina Magis. I'm the literacy coach at Price and Richardson Elementaries.
I'm Amanda Heller. I'm the literacy coach at DeWitt and Preston.
And I'm Crystal Parnan, the literacy coach at Silver Lake and Lincoln.
We have a little slideshow. I saw it up there. There it is.
Oh, the one about literacy.
Yeah, that would be it.
Perfect. Thank you.
You scared me there for a minute. I was like,
Yeah, you had
I'm gonna wing it a
you
little
were
bit.
frightened, Mr. Hop.
So we're going to take a little look back over the past many years of where we've been with our curriculum. So if you skip through this kind of our little agenda of things we'll talk about. So this one, thinking back to many years ago in this district, we had Journeys. That was the main curriculum we were using, and we used that for many years. I believe I was trying to count back to the early days. I think it was 2008 that we started using Journeys, and we used that for nearly 15 years. So there was a long time between curriculum adoptions. And then as you can see, starting in 2021, things really picked up, and we've had in that 5-year period a lot of different curriculum materials that we've had to learn and our classroom teachers have had to work with. All good things, but it's just been a lot at once. So in 2021, we had the Fontes Pinnell. That was our initial adoption. The following year, after some research in needing some more foundational skills practice, we went back to, we had already, our kindergarten team has always worked with foundations, but we really implemented it with Fidelity K through 2, beginning back in 2022. And then in 2023, we extended that into 3rd grade. That year as well, we, it was our title of reading teachers at the time, started using a program called UFly, is what the nickname is, but it's the University of Florida Literacy Institute, as a resource in their toolkit for intervention needs. The following year, we started with Wit and Wisdom. We know that the switch had to be made due to state mandates, so that was our next move, was Wit and Wisdom. And then we just had what we called the first followers, so the teachers that were willing to try it out for the first year. Instead of doing just a building level pilot, we had a teacher at every building at every grade level that was trying it out. And then from there, we went into the full implementation at the beginning of this year. And along with that, we built up our intervention program even more by incorporating Orton Gillingham for our new structured literacy specialist, which were our former position of our Title I reading teachers, and some of our intervention specialists as well. So through this is a lot to learn for all of our teachers. So that has been part of our job since 2023 or 2022, I believe, to help teachers implement this, and learn how to utilize it in a way that best supports our students. So looking back, so this year one of our focuses, we've continued to support teachers in many ways, and one of the ways that we did this this year was Alyssa Bird, whose name I'm sure are familiar with. She held monthly virtual learning sessions for teachers, and they each had a topic of focus in regards to Wit and Wisdom, and it was a way for teachers to ask questions and build deeper knowledge of certain parts of the curriculum. And I would say by and large that they were very successful. The feedback from the teachers and the attendance really showed the interest and the need was there. Another thing we worked on this year and we hope to expand upon, and next year, you'll hear about this a little later, are learning walks. It was on the first one, sorry. Our learning walks, and then if you could go, yeah, just back a little. There we go. Back one more. Yeah, there you go. And so we spent some time with grade level teams, really digging into Wit and Wisdom. So each of the coaches worked with a grade level team in a building, and we just dug into what they were working on, whether it was pacing, whether it was looking at assessments, what kind of tools they needed, what kind of things in the curriculum that they were struggling with implementing. We sat for, and they had some release time once a month, and we would work with that. And we also worked with Alyssa on that. And we hope to expand that a little bit more next year. And then we also held monthly TBTs that were focused on pacing, looking at writing samples, discussing the rigor of all of the assessments, and we held those in partnership with the building principals. So those are just some of the things that we've done to help the teachers this year implement some of this newer curriculum for them. This is just some of the feedback. One of the kindergarten teachers was talking about year 1 versus year 2 of Wit and Wisdom. It is kind of meaty to get into initially, especially the manuals are very wordy. So for some teachers, it was a little overwhelming the first year. And now, since this teacher's in year 2, she feels like she's so much more confident with it. She's way more comfortable with it, and she's seen a lot of growth within her students. And then the grade level team that we worked with really felt value in those learning walks or grade level coaching cycles that we did, and they were looking forward to it, knowing that they would get the support that they felt like they needed to implement the curriculum correctly. And then these are just some writing samples. I think writing is one of the strongest parts of this curriculum, and we've seen a lot of growth from kindergartners independently writing sentences without asking for support, just picking up the pencil and knowing what to do and building that confidence, to second, third, fourth graders writing these multi-syllabic or multi-paragraph responses that are based upon text and evidence, and I feel like they are just growing year after year with this, and it's been really interesting to see them displayed in the hallway and how proud they are of all their work, and it really is quality writing that we're seeing out of these students. Yes, the digestive system in second grade is very interesting to them. Very interesting topic. A huge vocabulary that they're building from these two, because these topics are just so interesting.
All right, so I am going to just share a little bit more about what we do in the data world. So what we actually do is we hold a lot of data meetings with our teachers to really try to figure out where we can troubleshoot and solve some problems ahead of time to make sure that our students are getting the support that they need regardless of ability level. So in doing this, we have a lot of different data meetings that we handle throughout the year, but our main one, which is kind of like our Super Bowl at the beginning of the year, is called a day-to-day meeting. They typically last about 2 hours, and what we do as a team, we administer benchmark assessments to all students K to 5. These assessments have a variety of measures. We look at that information as a team, and we decide if we have to dig deeper. We want to make sure that we are providing, whether it's tier 1 or intervention instruction, that we're meeting the needs of the actual student. So sometimes we do dig a little bit deeper, and we have to give some additional diagnostics to figure out where that need is, and so those require a little bit more time. We take that information, then we brainstorm as a team, what do we want this instruction to look like, and so usually we do that 3 times a year. They're usually about 2 hours in length. We have a nice group of teachers, the intervention specialists, the EL teachers, English language teachers, the gen ed teachers, ourselves. Everyone's a part of this committee to try to make sure that the instruction we're going to provide is going to be beneficial for our students. So we do that at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. And in doing so, we create collective commitments that we can make sure we're monitoring throughout the school year to make sure that our students are progressing, and then our teachers themselves are holding themselves accountable so they can watch the data as students are progressing and identify if a student isn't progressing in, say, the manner they would like. We want to stop and intervene and make sure that we're giving them support, because there might be a small change, such as the minutes of instruction a student is receiving. A small tweak like that could have big impact on our students, so we need those larger chunks of time to really cycle through the student data. So that's kind of like our Super Bowl, happens 3 times a year. And then if you want to go to the next slide, we have what we are calling our progress monitoring meetings. Now with our progress monitoring meetings, those are a little bit more infrequent, but a little bit more consistent. We have larger ones twice a year. And with that, we are really going to be looking at that data from the students, and we're trying to identify what measure our students need to receive that skill of instruction in. So this is just a hierarchy. And with it, you'll see at the top, there's comprehension, and at the bottom, you have your phonemic awareness, which are your basic early literacy skills. And if you're thinking about a ladder, students are climbing up, and so then we as coaches will sit with our teachers and we try to identify where is it that a student needs to grow a little further. If they're mastering that, your next step is, and if they're not, let's step back and supply this intervention. So we really work with the teachers to make sure that they're using research-based and evidence-based interventions and support. And it's not just limited to interventions. We also want to make sure that we're providing enrichment opportunities for our students as well. So this hierarchy does allow us to adjust as needed for groups, whether it's whole group instruction or just a small group instruction. As Mrs. Mages mentioned, we did start using Orton Gillingham this year. So Orton Gillingham is an intervention program that is very systematic, and it follows a very concrete scope and sequence. And with that, we use it to make sure that we're addressing any holes that a student may have in their phonics. So we want to make sure that our students have a very strong, solid understanding of phonics as they are progressing through the grade levels. Foundations does that as our whole tier 1, but every once in a while you will have a couple kiddos who may not have a particular skill, and we want to make sure that we can identify that missing skill and address it. And Orton Gillingham works well with foundations, and we try to pick up those skills as we're going. And so with our Orton Gillingham and our foundations, that's really the meat of what we're trying to ensure that our students have as a basis of their reading before they can get to the comprehension and that fluency piece. So those are our two main programs that we really lean heavily into. If you can go to the next slide. Okay, so when we're looking at progress monitoring, we can look at our data as a group, as a whole classroom. You have a cohort you're teaching, whole group instruction, and you may find that one year you have students who need more fluency, and another year you may have students who need more comprehension skills. So we are working with the teachers to make sure they're identifying that and teaching to the needs of their students and helping support in that manner. But in addition to that, if you can go to the next slide, what we actually do is we track our students and we try to identify if we're actually making progress with our interventions or tier 1 instruction. This is a great example. This is a student that has an identified measure that they need to work on. You'll see the third graph in says nonsense words, whole word read. You'll see those data points are above that solid line, and that's exactly what we want to see. That's how we get assurance as teachers that what we are currently doing is working for the student and they're growing. And the way it's easy to explain is if we see that our students are progressing up and they're above that line, they're actually exceeding the benchmark. And that's really what we're looking for. If we do happen to monitor students and we do start to see that maybe their data points are going up and down, that's when we start to look closely at potential factors that may be impacting that. Or if somebody is starting to flatline, then that's when we want to address it and potentially make a change, or just look at the situation. So we have the teachers progress monitoring students anywhere from a weekly to a monthly basis, or occasionally just like a every 6-week check-in. And during those progress monitoring days, that's what we're doing. We're cycling through all the students in the grade level, just making sure everybody's meeting those targets, and if not, then we'll just kind of work together to brainstorm and figure out what the next best steps are. All right, and so with that, as I said, OOG and foundations is really kind of our lifeline, our starting point. And one of the good things with technology is this year we were fortunate enough to use an online piece of foundations that allows the teachers to put in their data from assessments that they're giving. So for foundations and OG, they have spelling tests. That's the way that they're assessing if students understand syllable patterns and they're applying what we're teaching them. And so with this, you could actually see as a whole group how one particular homeroom is doing in a snapshot. And you'll see that the green is obviously good. Those kids are above benchmark, and that's what you want to see. With the teachers, though, if we do start to see that a group is scoring below 80%, that's when teachers would look at this data and they would stop and they actually reteach. A reteach lesson can be anywhere from 3 days to potentially 2 weeks. We are trying to eliminate those holes in their learning and address it when it comes up, so then that way they can continue on with their progression. So this is a really nice feature that's newer to the teachers this year. So This one's very valuable, and if you go to the next slide,
Do we allow
Yeah.
space in our pacing guidelines for, like, assuming that there will need to be reteaching?
We do.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Kind of had it in, and then we're gonna review this year to see how we did with pacing and how many days. And then we'll modify again for next year, depending on that feedback. But we received positive feedback on their pacing this year, so, yeah.
And that's part of our data meetings. We were all in our data meetings this week, and we were starting the conversation for pacing for next year. Where are you at this year? How did that work? And so then when we're building it, we're keeping those things in mind. Because if you actually look at foundations, they do not allow for reteaching in their pacing guide. It's 1 week after another. So part of what we're doing then is we're also looking at those units to make sure that we're getting to the meat of what we need to without skipping the essential
That's why you usually have
components.
to, like, there's usually too many standards in
Yes.
any grade level, and that's why you
Yes.
have to go to the power standards and say, where do we have overlap that we can try to tie in multiple standards, because otherwise we're never gonna get
Correct.
to all of third grade.
Yes, we're not. And the third grade curriculum for foundations is pretty meaty too. It could probably extend like a year and a half.
And you're
So that
doing-
is something that we're looking
Yeah.
at.
In the third grade, you have the guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
Because pacing
We got a
always
lot.
kind of scared me, because what if they don't get it? And you have to go back.
Yes.
You know, you don't want to go forward till you make sure
Right.
they're all there.
So, and we've
So
also-
I'm glad that you're allowing that pacing. That's good to go back and recheck. Thank you.
We've also consulted the curriculum companies as well. So when we were going through the foundations adoption of third grade, our second grade teachers didn't get as far as we hoped. And so when we talked to the foundations representative, they assured us that if they got instruction till this point, they'll be fine starting third grade. Just take it slower at the beginning because it's going to be a review. So absolutely, that's something we have to be very cautious of. So. And that this is just a little bit more simplified. This one is really what a teacher can use to make sure that when they are changing instruction or reteaching, they can identify those areas of potential weakness that their students might need a little bit more practice in. So this is a result of a foundations test. You could see where it says words. You have units 7, 8, and 9 have the little yield sign. So that's indicating that the students are starting to struggle. So if I were to look at the scope and sequence with the teachers, we would identify what's that syllable type, what's the reason for the struggle, and that's when we're going to start the conversation of, okay, do we need to reteach? Is it isolated? What could have caused this? Because you don't want to stop and reteach the entire class if that's not necessary. That could be something that's handled within an intervention or just like a small group. So this is really helpful for the teachers, and as they're becoming more and more proficient with foundations, they will become even more knowledgeable and find this tool even more useful as they're progressing.
So on the bottom, sentence, bold, trick words.
Yes.
They have a red X, and then it was yellow, and then they got back on track. Is that the
Yes.
interpretation?
So, well, when they're given a sentence during the dictation portion, there are certain words, so that would be the bold trick words. So those are the ones that don't have the phonetic pattern, and they are learning new weekly words. So with some of the tests, I'd have to sit down and look at it with the teachers, and that's kind of what we would do. So for these particular ones, I'm not exactly sure if it was just the word that they were learning this week or if it was in addition to the prior units, because it's probably a combination, but that's a good point, and that's the type of conversation that we have with the teachers, because you may have to incorporate, say foundations is maybe requesting a 5 to 10 minute lesson for these heart words or trick words. We may have to up it to 15 minutes for a particular group of students. Yep. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so this was really exciting for us. So as you know, the literacy coaches and I have been working in the district for a couple years now, and this was really enlightening to see that what we're doing is starting to kind of take off. This is a report of our diagnostic trend data. So when we are doing our benchmarking with our students 3 times a year, we are reporting that to the state at the K-3 level. And what you'll actually see is over the last couple years, our students are starting the year better every year after year. So we have a really nice amount of growth. I can't read the numbers from here, but it looks like the second one is 62%, and now we have 82% of our students who are where they need to be with their readiness when they're starting kindergarten through 3rd grade.
And you're leveling out between males and females.
Yes, yes. I also noticed that as well. All right, so one of the things that we are trying to do as well is just like teachers have to create lessons for their students based on their needs, we are also trying to be very mindful of our teachers and to provide them with the tools and opportunities to make sure that they're successful to help them as well. As Tina mentioned, we do a lot of lessons with students themselves, but we also create lessons for teachers, and then we will teach them with the teachers and help the teachers to make sure that they have a full understanding and they feel comfortable doing whatever it is that they wanted to do. This is just an example of some of the things that we've done. The student-friendly OST rubric was a really big one this year. We really tried to dig into the OST results with our teachers because we noticed that our teachers are working really hard, but we may not have been seeing the payoff that we know that the students are capable of. And we really tried to identify what could we do to make sure that we are getting the results based on what the students are actually doing. And one of them was really just looking at the rubric for the state test and making sure it was in child-friendly terms and children understood it. Too many times students are given rubrics and it's just a checklist, and they're not internalizing, they're not editing, they're not going back in. And this was one of the things that we did with the teachers. So we made a child-friendly rubric. We taught lessons to some of the classrooms, and we talked about how you want to include these key parts in your writing, and not just in an OST. We used that as the framework when we were discussing it, but we just said these are things that good writers would do and include in their writing, and this is how we would score it. So it became like a communication tool for our students and teachers. And so a lot of the teachers started using us to help grade their writing as well. And that kind of led the conversation of, let's make sure that we're assigning the same point value for certain characteristics within writing to make sure that we have that consistent across the district. So that was one thing that we did. And then if you go to the next slide, we also incorporated some other lessons that the teachers said that they wanted. A couple teachers reached out when we were looking at our benchmarking data, and they said, well, retail is not as high as we think it should be. Is there something we can do? So Tina had created, we call it a 4-star retail. And basically, anytime a student is reading, it could be just like in a conversation, even if they were watching a learning video, it's getting students to talk about what they're learning and have it be concrete ideas with the main idea followed by details. And we started calling it a 4-star versus, say, a 1-star. And it was really nice to see because a lot of students, when they were actually doing the retell, when we were assessing them, they were genuinely saying, do you think that was a 4-star? And we're like, oh yeah, 4-star. 5 if you could get it. So they're really internalizing some of the lessons that we're going in and doing. And then we will just, again, craft them to what the teacher needs and the students need. And in the middle is just a couple other things that we've done. We've done like goal setting, system navigation for some of the programs we use. Getting teachers and students more familiar with graphic organizers that are not all pretty and cute. Sometimes as educators, we like pretty and cute things like the Oreo, but then when you ask a student to write an opinion piece without an Oreo graphic organizer, they're not exactly sure what to do. So it's trying to get them to make that transition from easy to a little bit more rigorous.
I think this is really good because in high school we use outlines.
Yes.
And it's a little, streamlined. This is so good because that's exactly what you do. You know, your introduction and then your body in the introduction paragraph when they get there.
Yes.
We're not there yet.
We're trying.
This is the perfect body
Great.
paragraph that we use at high school level and middle school. I do have one little quick little
Absolutely.
nitpick. And I understand with little ones you have to use, I think, I believe, but by the time they get to we try to get rid of that. They don't need it.
Oh, yes.
So sometime along the way on, let's try to get rid of those.
Yes.
Because we really, it used to make us pretty, no.
Especially if they all start the same.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
But I just love this idea.
Absolutely.
Because it will
Thank
tie
you.
in right to middle and high school.
Great.
I'd like my oldest nephew to use that about his day
Yeah,
at
it's
school
good.
every day.
nice.
Because instead of him saying that what he did at school today was school, could,
Yeah, there you
do
go.
a
Then
four-star
you could give them
retell
star-
of his
yeah.
day at school.
Perfect.
How many
Yes.
stars?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because right now he's getting 0 stars.
Yeah, seriously.
Negative
Yelp-
stars on his
Yelp review.
school retells.
Great. All right, I'll turn it over to Amanda then.
Okay, I have some very fun things to talk about. So first, I'll be talking about teacher and family engagement. So one way to improve our collective efficacy among staff is just by ensuring consistent messaging to all teachers. So this year, we focused on incorporating a newsletter that I will talk more about in just a moment. And then for family engagement, we continue to use our partnership with the Cuyahoga Falls Library to reach our families and enhance our partnership in learning. So those are the 2 things I'll touch on there. Okay, so this was new this year to streamline communication across all of our elementary buildings. So this was Literacy Loop newsletter was sent out at the beginning of every quarter, again to all certified staff. So this could be teachers of literacy, or it could just be our 4th and 5th grade math, science, social studies teachers. We wanted all of them to have it. And really this was just a way for us to communicate important information. So for example, you see the information about upcoming Acadians benchmarking and Acadians data days. We just wanted our teachers to know what to expect ahead of time so that they feel confident and prepared for those meetings. This was also a really great way for us to share some resources. So we always had 3 different sections. We had something to read, something to watch, and something to listen to. So they had 3 different things that they could choose from. So some examples of that, we had a podcast about building fluency through repeated readings. So that was one of our things that we included. We also had articles about things like understanding orthographic mapping and how that's a cognitive process for our brain. And then we also wanted to highlight some of our fantastic teaching practices as well. So we were able to just get like snippets of student writing work for the Wit and Wisdom tasks and things like that. We also really wanted to make sure that this was an opportunity for us to engage with our teachers and make it fun. So we always had some sort of like activity or riddle or something for them to respond with, so we see, who is actually really reading these and paying attention to them. I had many teachers tell me that they didn't even respond to me because they could not find all 3 baby echoes in that one. They were like, I promise I read it, I just cannot find them. But we kept track of how many responses we got from that, and we are happy to say that, so for the first year doing this, we had 1 out of every 4 teachers who teach literacy actively engaging and responding. So that was pretty good. Okay. Family Literacy Night is personally one of my favorite nights of the year. So, like I said, we continued our partnership with the Cuyahoga Falls Library, and I am very happy to say that we had a huge increase in registration compared to the last 4 years that we've done it there. We had a 33% increase this year from last year alone. So that was substantial.
That's great.
So these are some just numbers there. So we had over 300 total registrations, 70% event attendance. So we did count every single kid went in and got a bag, and we checked off their names so we knew they came. And then we had 44 families provide feedback, and these are some of the things that they had to say. So a lot of our families really pointed out that they loved the opportunity to see other teachers outside of school and see friends and do fun things together. They also really like that we have it somewhere in the community, somewhere that's accessible to everyone, and that it's a free event. We have so many families that appreciate that every single year. And they really find good value in the education as well. So one of the stations was about the decodables at the library. So families got to hear about what a decodable is and how they can use it with their child. We also had the Dino Stomp game was a big hit, and the words that we took from that came right from our Foundations curriculum. So that was a nice crossover. And then I just included a little parent quote. We've attended the event the last 4 years, so they keep coming back. and it's always fun. Okay, and then looking ahead, so we have some great opportunities coming up. One is the structured literacy opportunities through the University of Akron. So there's a few things that we're doing with Akron this year, into next year as well. So one thing is the Summer Literacy Institute. So that is something, it's a one-day event at the University of Akron. It's my first time going this summer. I'm looking forward to it. They have many speakers there. So that's about all I can say about that until I go. But it looks very, very exciting. I think there's 2-3 presentations going on that day. And then we also have some really exciting opportunities through the Structured Literacy Program at the University of Akron. So we have 2 opportunities through a grant that they received. One opportunity is for a structured literacy classroom teacher course, which is 45 hours. And we maxed out our teacher registrations for that. And then the other one, the second cohort, is structured literacy dyslexia interventionist course. And so that is the 45 hours over the summer, but then we also have 48 hours of practicum into the fall and spring of next school year. And we have also maxed out for that as well.
I will say we have almost 40 teachers in the first group, which is really high. And the second one this is a highly skilled type of role. This is someone that is almost like an academic language therapist. This is someone that could provide really unique tutoring for students. And so to have, I think, 6 teachers going to be at that level is really unheard of. And they receive a stipend from the grant to attend. So it's really a win-win for everyone. So that knowledge is going to come back to us, so much. And because we've just been building relationships with people, they knock on our door, and so we're grateful to open it and say, yeah, tell us more. So.
We are also going to continue our collaboration with Kent University for the Keep Academy. So that's our annual partnership that we have with them for some professional development. And then some things that we want to work on in our role as literacy coaches starting next year. So next year we really want to expand our learning walk procedures and what that looks like. That's a really good opportunity for teachers to collaborate and share best practices together that are ultimately going to improve student instruction. So we decided, just to come up with some better definitions for these and how they're different from coaching cycles. So for a learning walk, we see this as just a 10 to 15 minute non-evaluative collaborative observation walkthroughs that we have. But we also want to have a variation of different types. So this year we started having the conversations about whose classroom do you want to see? What do you want to see? I had a 4th grade teacher who had no idea what foundations looked like and wanted to see what those students were learning in 2nd and 3rd before they come up to them in 4th grade. And that was really, really powerful. They asked some really good questions and had some really good conversations. But then we also recognized maybe there's some teachers who aren't ready for that. So another opportunity would just be to see someone's classroom. If you're a new teacher, do you want to go see someone's classroom? See how it's set up. See what they have out. See what classroom management practices work for them. So just different things for them to learn from. And then we obviously want to continue with our coaching cycles. We really loved what we did with Alyssa Bird this year with the Wit and Wisdom, so we do want to continue our own variation of that. We're in the process of determining what exactly we want that to look like. But we do want to continue to offer just a variety of different structures. So this could be mini coaching cycles that last anywhere from like 1 to 2 weeks, or we can continue to offer our full coaching cycles, which usually last about a month and a half, and we dive in really deep with those. Or I've been in some really great co-planning cycles as well, where I just meet with a grade level and we all brainstorm and plan together, and then I might go back to their classroom and just watch them teach, and then we'll touch base again and debrief. So we really want to focus our cycles for impact. Obviously, we want a lasting impact. So we are working on using a well-defined common framework across all of our elementary buildings to make sure we are all doing similar things, and just continue to ground our decisions in data that we have.
So coaching, you mean professional development for the teachers. Do you identify who might need coaching, or do they ask for coaching?
I'd say both.
Okay.
Yeah, it really does depend. We don't want coaching to feel forced.
Right.
Yeah, that's not what we want, because we really do want to partner with our teachers. So if we do see a need, we will offer it, we will suggest it, and usually they take us up on that offer, I would say, yeah.
I would say also, sometimes it's just being visible. So if I have downtime, I'll go into a classroom just to support, and then I'll be asked questions, and then it leads into a potential coaching cycle. So just being available and accessible sometimes kind of breaks down the barriers, and then teachers will enroll or just want additional support that way too.
And they're being humble. They're out in the carpool line many days too, so
Right.
they're trying to help in any way they can.
Yeah, that's great.
And once you have that relationship established, like I've had so many teachers, like I don't even need to approach them. They'll come to me and they'll say what's going on, and they
Yeah,
need
it's
that
not
support.
punitive, it's collaborative.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. And then the last thing was just focusing on our data day structure. So data days is something that we've been doing for a while, and we continue to dive deeper into certain aspects now that we have more knowledge and more familiarity with the process with our teachers. So next year, we really want to dive deeper into our common assessments. This goes back to what Mrs. Parnan was saying about just identifying similar practices across the board. So, if one teacher is going to scaffold this common assessment in this way, well, then we all need to be doing that same scaffold so that we have, that similar data. So those are really the big things that we have to look forward to. This isn't everything that we've been talking about, but it's a lot of the biggies. So we have several things that we are looking forward to in supporting our teachers. We're very excited to continue to strengthen our impact that we've had so far. And next year is year 2 of full Wit and Wisdom implementation, so we look forward to that with them.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the focus on the reading and the writing, because we had another board member a while back who really believed that even kindergartners could write, and we are big fans of the reading and writing workshop. And I think it was Wit and Wisdom that sets up the big ideas, the essential questions. Thank you very much for your hard work and the time that you have put in, because I think reading and writing across the curriculum is one of the best things to make our students think critically, analyze, and the writing, it just sets it down. So thank you for all the work you do. It's greatly appreciated, even if we don't always say that.
Yep.
But I really appreciate the writing and the common assessments, the four corners?
4-star retail.
Okay, yes, because that will work right up into middle and high. I just thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Ms. Southman, can we have a copy of that in our notes?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just have one other thought, it's not a
Yes.
question. But obviously with the summer coming up, one of the big things we push our students is to participate in the summer reading program at the library. And so maybe for next year, because it's too late for this year, but they do like different prizes. Maybe we could think of like a specific, like some sort of Cuyahoga Falls Schools prize that only like students could enter into. Like they say like what their school is, and at the end of it, they could like put their name and their school in as a way of trying to further incentivize our students to participate in that.
Well, maybe it's not too late,
Well,
so we have a
I'm
few
not trying to
weeks.
put anything more on a
We do
school
partner
teacher's
and
plate
promote
in
it.
late May,
Yeah,
so.
no, I appreciate that, yeah.
Next year, in my mind, if you wanna make it happen, that's your choice, but
My
I'm
son
not
in
putting
fourth
anything
grade.
more on people's plates in May. What?
I'm just too excited
Oh,
to
yeah.
talk. This is like the meat. This is what we do. And so there's a lot of information, but we need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
So this is what really lays the groundwork for our student achievement and continued growth. So
Well,
thank you.
we appreciate your support for this position because the state is providing some literacy coaches and they're starting to develop that, but they're not able to build the relationships like our 3 coaches are doing, and it's because of the relationships and trust and being there every day, we get to make that progress. Where someone's just stopping in to visit or teach, it's not gonna be as meaningful.
Yeah.
So we do really appreciate your investment in this program. It means a lot to us.
Well, it's one of those ways we try to personalize education here in Cuyahoga Falls.
Yes. My son is in 4th grade, and he brought home a paper that he wrote about early settlement of America, and it was from a point of view, and he said he had a partner who wrote from the other point of view, and I was really heartened to see that we're not shying away from, the debate kind of model of exploring an issue, and he had to, write his case. So I think I'm seeing that as a parent.
Good.
Manifesting at home, and
When they get older, they'll take the opinion that they don't wanna, and you write on
right.
that.
I think I don't want
they
us
don't.
to shy away from that
I
kind
think it's
of
good.
kind
It's
of
great.
stuff. And my son, to Mr. Gomez's point, will do anything for a prize.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item E, Treasurer CFO's Business Consent Agenda, Ms. Stoikloy.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend the Board of Education approve all items listed in the treasurer's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, Ms. Stoikloy?
Yes. Busy bee. We have the minutes, and I'll do the donations now. So we have a number of donations again, especially this time of the year with different things. A number are for the Cuyahoga Falls Community Hack, Dairy Queen, who does a lot. There's a number of things that were given for students or staff for Staff Appreciation Week that were donated. So we appreciate all of that. The Farm Fresh program got a $10,000 donation.
Oh, wow.
So that's very cool.
Wow.
A couple other things, I'm kind of going to go out of order here, but the amended appropriations, I only did permanent improvements, so nothing else changed other than that. So that was the only one I decided not to do at this time. The Julian and Group contract, I know we just did a contract for the audit services, so that is for our actual audit that goes through the state auditor's office. We are also required to have gap statements done, and so someone else has always done those. Julian Group has always done those for us, even prior to, even when the state was auditing us themselves. So we are at the end of our 3-year. They also put together the annual comprehensive financial report that we do each year. They compile it, it becomes part of the actual audit. So we are at the end of our 3 years, and then this will just be for another 3-year period to continue to use them there. And then just the student fees for the 26-27 school year. I provided you with the backup of what. I think there was minimal changes, and it was just some of the product increasing, or food is part of like FCS and things like that. So obviously those prices have increased a bit, over the last year. So nothing much different from previous years. So I think that's all.
Any questions or comments from the board? Please call the roll.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye. Brings us to item F, your comments.
I do not have any this evening.
Item G, Superintendent CEO's Business Consent Agenda, Dr. Selicow.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. I'd like to recommend that the board approves all items listed in the superintendent's consent agenda.
Second.
Dr. Selicow?
Thank you. Number of items this evening for your consideration. There's sort of no particular order, but they kind of make sense and tie into one another. So the first is, you'll see a list of job descriptions there, and these are from our administrative and professional handbook. These are not additional jobs. These are actually as a result of a cut in an administrator, and as a result, we had to make some changes. And these are really just noting a change in a position, which, as you know, I'm recommending that with the reduction of Mr. Bagati's position as Director of Operations, that Mr. Hutch will be assuming a new position, and we're going to retitle it Chief Operating Officer. And so all of those job descriptions, all of those people will be reporting to him, and as a result, we needed to change the supervisor in those. So that's really all the most change that you'll see in those job descriptions. Our handbook for our administrators and professional staff. So again, there are two categories. Though you see a number of, and you'll see these later, administrators, there's a distinction to be made between administrators and professional staff. And you can see those distinctions in the handbook. There's some differences in compensation and benefits afforded to those professionals, but a lot of this is related to the changes I just noted in the change in personnel as a result of the reduction in administrators. We also did cut back on some days of administrators and administrative positions. So want to make note of that. As we've had people retire, we changed a 260 job to 209 days, for example, in our curriculum, and you'll note some of those other changes that are there. We also have, under personnel, we have some certified appointments, we have some classified appointments, leaves of absences, some resignations and retirements, and I do want to point out I believe two retirements, of which we have Teresa McBride, who's an intervention specialist at Cuyahoga Falls Middle School. So I want to thank her for her service, as well as Joe Wenneman, tough one. He'll be tough to fill, an electrician, and we appreciate what he has done. He's been with us quite some time, so he will be missed as well. And certainly have a void there. We'll be posting for that position if we haven't already. I know real soon. We've talked about in reaching other avenues other than education, because we know that the trades folks look at different locations to find jobs. We have the next series of items that you'll see there are customary. They're done annually. So you have limited contracts, 1 year, 3 year. You have some non-renewals of long-term substitute teachers, non-renewals of supplemental contracts, classified staff, coaching. Those are all just required for us to do that. And certainly that doesn't mean that there are a lot of jobs. We rehire many of them the following year. Also for your consideration are the administrative and professional staff contracts. So we have a number listed. We had a number of people up this year for renewal, and some of them are here this evening. And we also have a resolution which comes, sadly, a resolution that is required due to our bargaining, our negotiations and contract with the CFEA, our teachers, that we do have a reduction in force of 2 folks. Hopeful that things may shake out where they're able to come back. But in reducing, Ms. Bogdan, is it 50? I meant to ask you this today. Is it 50 that we've reduced in general? Staff members?
That's close enough. I don't have a specific.
Yeah, pretty close. I meant to confirm that with you today, but I know it's up there, and we've had a number of reductions, of which the teachers were hit pretty hard, but all classifications, including administrators, were reduced. But they need a resolution for that. And then we also have College Credit Plus stipends. That also is just contract language. Those teachers that teach College Credit Plus get stipends for their work. We also have, next one that I want to point out is our payment in lieu of transportation. And this one I just want to mention briefly. See, Lori's here from transportation. She probably processes these. We have to pay what is called payment in lieu of transportation. And this is not reimbursed by our state. If I just, as a final, yes, not reimbursed. A total of almost $68,000, of which this money goes to parents of private schools that transport their children and make a choice to not put their children in public schools, but the law requires our district to transport them, and if we are unable to transport them, or they choose to transport their child, we have to pay them. So they get stipends to do that, and that is costing our district $68,000.
That's on top of their voucher.
Yes, on top of the vouchers. that
That's
they
the
choose.
amount of a salary.
It sure is.
Absolutely.
So certainly a challenge, and some of the things that we've been fighting with our advocacy groups regarding transportation in the House bills and legislature that's been proposed. We also have a similar resolution for declaring transportation impractical. So we do have the ability to, if there are just a couple of students, for example, attending a school, because again, we have to transport students to private schools. If they are more than 30 minutes door to door, or there may be a few students attending, meaning in this case it's Hoban, there's just a handful of students that we can deem it impractical, that we don't have a bus, or enough students, or it's not within the time restrictions to transport, so we're able to do that, but we have to do that through a board resolution. So you'll see those students there. And they're also eligible for that payment on the LOAF, by the way. And then the early entrance to kindergarten document is just revised. This is our guide for young early entrance for kindergarten. We changed our policy, so as a result we had to, the law changed. And important to note for our parents that the kindergarten age will actually, the start date for kindergartners will probably vary every year, because it is now based on the date. They must turn 5 by the day that we start school. So we start school on August 20th. The next year we might start on August 16th. So it's a moving target, but that's what the state came up with. So that will, I believe it's August 19th, I think, this year. So if you're before that date, you would qualify to enter kindergarten if you're 5. And I believe that's it. Thank you. 50? Thank you. Sometimes. Yeah.
Well, that's over the last several years, correct?
I'm sorry?
Over the last
50?
several years?
The
The 50?
No, that's this year.
This year.
50
That's
this year. And only, well, I hate to say only 2 reps, because I don't like to see anyone have to leave us, but 50 through attrition and retirement.
We really try very hard to do it all through
And
attrition.
streamline
Sometimes
it.
we can wait or delay or try to time it the best we can. We do have an elementary person in here, and generally, we either may add a kindergarten or someone may leave the district and he would be on recall. So feel pretty good that that may happen.
They'll be on the recall list for a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's always hard.
Yeah, it's always very hard. It's not a reflection on the people. It's just the process that it goes through. But we've worked very hard through attrition so 50 this year, but we've been doing attrition for years. I mean, there are people that retired 3 years ago. We never filled their jobs either. So we've been working to right-size the district. And one thing you didn't mention was on the classified appointments, just a lot of people getting their assignments for next year as well, as part of that movement throughout the district. Because of the closure of Preston, a lot of people in the classified division getting moved around the district as well.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Thank you. Item H, superintendent's business.
Thank you. We have someone in the audience and family waiting very patiently. And girls, you have done an outstanding job over there. Super good. Yay!
Great job.
It's a lot to sit through. Good job. Yep. Good smiles. So this evening I am recommending the board approve an administrative contract for Miss Elizabeth Liz Collins as principal of the Cuyahoga Falls Middle School. Shall I tell you about? Yeah, move in second, then I'll.
Second.
Tell you a little bit about. Thank you. I'm sorry. So just to tell you a little bit about Liz, she is. This was a really hard decision. A good problem to have. We had some very qualified candidates, and it was It was a really in-depth search and rigorous process that we put her through. I'm sure she could affirm that. And so we had 2 rounds of interviews and then a building visit with me. I took her around the building along with another candidate, and both were very strong. It was very difficult, but Ms. Collins is currently, has an educational foundation from Kent State University. She earned both her Bachelor of Science in Education and a Master of Arts in Educational Leadership. She joined us with 6 years of administrative experience as an assistant principal within the Akron Public Schools. In addition to her 6 years of administrative experience, her previous role as an instructional coach provided her the opportunity to facilitate TBTs and lead data analysis to improve instruction. Mrs. Collins holds a 5-year professional principal license and an integrated math license. We have another math person, Mr. Oswald's also a math person. And I'd just like to say that what I liked about Mrs. Collins is her balance. I think her instructional leadership, I think that being an instructional coach has certainly assisted in her ability to lead us in curriculum and instruction. And she kind of has a firm, she has a firm hand. So our middle schoolers, all middle schoolers need, kids are nodding, That's all right. You'll appreciate it when you grow up. We know that middle schools need structure and they need a blend of compassion and understanding and patience, but they also need expectations. And one of the things I was really looking for is someone that could set and maintain that tone for our students and setting the bar high for expectations for their behavior particularly. And I think we found the person to do that. So I'd like to recommend you for your consideration this evening, Mrs. Collins. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board? Please call the roll.
Mrs. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
That has to be your mom. Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I see it. Would you like to come forward and say a few remarks, please?
Just as much noise as they are.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job. So I just wanted to thank Dr. Selico and her team as well as the board for giving me this opportunity. I'm very excited to be a part of the Cuyahoga's family and be a Black Tiger. I'm really excited to work with Tish and whoever we bring on as the new assistant as well. I think we're ready to make a lot of changes and a lot of structure. And like she said, I do run with an iron fist. I'm currently oversee 6th graders, and I am the scariest one. So I'm hoping to bring, they know it, they've popped in a few days while I'm at work, so they get to hear it. So, but I'm really excited for this new opportunity, and I hope that I can continue to help Cuyahoga Falls grow and help our students succeed their goals. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more item to vote on, and then we understand if you would like to leave, we understand we'll be here a little while longer. And I'm sorry if the board, I didn't know if you wanted to make any comments, I apologize.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, very happy to have you.
Yeah.
All right, next I would like to recommend, this is again customary when we bring on a new hire, that the board approve up to 10 days prior to the start of Mrs. Collins' contract to serve as a consultant capacity as the principal, so she can have some time to learn the school and systems and get things ready in advance in preparation for the new school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Feel free to leave if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All official.
Yep. Congrats.
Okay. Go, Dr. Selico. Yeah, I got it.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approves the contract between JF Marketing and the Cuyahoga Falls City School District.
So moved. Second.
Just- Patty and Carrie.
Patty and Carrie.
Discussion?
This is the auction.
The auction contract, right?
Yes.
Well, I was glad to see that we could have an auction of things in the high school despite the water damage. We're not looking to make $1 million off of this, but I hate to see things go to waste, and I like that we have an opportunity for people to get a deal on something. So thank you to Mr. Bugatti for researching this. And
Getting a lot of calls. Mrs. Stewart will be happy when this is moving along.
And I know I've had some concerns with having people in the building, with the air quality, with having had the water damage, and, you know, my concerns with the environmental issues. But Mr. Bugatti told me that he had spoken to, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember who he spoke with, but said that he's gotten the all clear to allow people to briefly come in to do that, and that certain areas will be unavailable to
Who's it? I'm sorry.
who was it,
That Joe spoke with?
that spoke to with
I'm gonna guess Gandy. Is it Gandy?
Gandy? Yes, I'm sorry, thank you.
They
The
do
associate from them.
They do our remediation work.
Yep, when we went to the, Joshua's.
Yeah, the
Oh,
BOC,
yes.
yeah, we
The Business
talked,
Alliance.
kind of told us what he
We
was
sat
paying,
next to each
yeah.
other, and he knew I had some concerns, so he made sure, he wasn't gonna be here this evening, so he made sure that
Right.
he mentioned it.
Is there a written report they provided? Because the report they provided us previously showed that they had concerns about the status of the building. So barring a written report from them that says that they're comfortable with the building, I'm not comfortable. I want people to be able to get things from
I
the high
also want
school.
people to get.
I, however, am not comfortable having community members go into a building that we have publicly said that we believe is unsafe.
well, when I talked to Mr. Bugatti, he said that, we have someone here who has Mr. Gomez is.
Yeah, he filled out a form, so he
Oh,
gets,
okay, all right.
okay.
he's
That
the
there's a
owner of the
type
company.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Bugatti told me and Dr. Selico, didn't you walk with him through the building?
I did.
And you identified areas to be blocked off. He said to me that most of the building has kind of dried out, but this is not, follow-up from Gandy. This is in Mr. Bugatti's expert opinion, I would say. I'm comfortable with his walkthrough of the areas that would be off limits to the public.
Yeah, there's one hallway, maybe a perpendicular part that by the main office and going into CTE, if I'm recalling, I haven't been in there in a while, but I was shocked at how it did dry out. And now again, I'm not an expert in anything of that sort, but it had the appearance, I felt much better having walked in it, but was definitely rope off areas. And Mr. Hutch, did you want to add?
I appreciate Mr. Gomez's concern, because what he brings up is really relevant. I think the difference, if it helps you in any way.
If you're gonna speak, Mr. Hutch, we can hear, just because I have a feeling you're about to say a little bit more than a couple sentences.
Yeah.
Which is okay, but I just prefer over here. He's got his binder open, so
Yeah.
just gonna read from it.
The Gandy report initially was at the worst condition of the building. The building has dried far better than anyone's expectations. So the building, as you're in there now, there's no odor of water damage. It's really recovered much better than we expected, which is why there's more comfort in letting people into that building. Their concern is disturbing anything, so blocking off areas where things may have fallen from the ceiling. We're also going to make very clear we don't want people removing things that are fixed to walls, things that might disturb anything environmental. But our conversation with Gandy this week was that they were comfortable, assuming we block off areas, as we've discussed, that they are comfortable with us making that. Now, what I'm hearing you say is you might be more comfortable with that in a written recommendation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since the only thing we have from them is in writing.
I think that's
saying
a fair point.
They think it's not in good condition.
That represented a snapshot at that
Yeah.
time. That was the reality. That reality has shifted. So I appreciate your concern for wanting that notated formally in a different way.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with this company or their contract. I have no issues with them. Very comfortable with them, comfortable with Roberts. My concern is just the high school and also some other things that have been seen at the high school and just the condition that it's in otherwise.
Yeah.
So people will go in to preview, just No?
No, everything's online.
Everything
So
is
people have
online.
scheduled pickup times. It's all very well spelled
Do
out.
they go into the room to get their stuff, or can people bring it?
I don't know. Do you know the answer?
Do you
Well,
want
yes, they
Mr.
would go
Froelich
to
come up?
retrieve the thing.
The guy who owns the company is here. Do you want him to answer your
I
question?
mean, I don't know if that.
If that's what you want, you can have him come up.
Well, if he has an
Yeah,
answer, I guess
come
we
on.
should let him come up.
Is it Freilich or Froelich? Freilich. I was right the first time.
Dr. Selico and President Gomez and the rest of the board, thank you for having me here today. The questions that I hear are very valid questions, and I appreciate being able to be here to answer those questions. My background is 16 years as a professional auctioneer, and I've handled multiple other high schools. As far as the condition of the building goes, as we heard, it's really dried out well, and that's good, but this has been a big part of my discussion with Mr. Brigatti, and it is my responsibility to make sure that the areas that are quarantined off remain that way. I want to assure everyone on the board and everyone that comes, we will not have members of the community straying through the building looking for things. That's not how this auction will work. What we will do is I will bring a team of people in. We will take all the like items that are easily movable, and we will move them and stage them in an area near a door. For instance, in the weight room, there's a big garage door in the weight room. We're going to stage a lot of stuff in that room so that people can show up, they'll have their receipt of what they paid for online, and we will have one of our employees go and gather their stuff and bring it. If we have a group or an individual that buys, for instance, there's about a dozen big, huge weight machines in the weight room. Probably going to be a small company that buys those, or someone is going to buy them, and they will work directly with me to coordinate any equipment that they need to bring in, if they need to bring in something to lift that and take it out to their truck. But there will be incredibly limited number of people coming through, and if they are a member of the community and not a member of my team, they will be accompanied by a member of my team. Okay?
That's great. And are there, I assume that when you bid or buy on something, there's a disclaimer that says this kind of thing. You will not be allowed into the building.
It's in our terms and conditions.
Right.
It's in our terms and conditions.
We are not responsible for loading.
Right. And the reason that we have our employees, my employees, at the site, as you probably all well know, nobody reads that stuff. They don't. I can put it in bold print on the headline of my webpage, and they're going to still say, well, I didn't know. So that's why we do it that way.
We learned that the first one.
Well, I would say that also, even if people do read that, it's like, people might view this as their last opportunity to walk through the building. So you may have some people that would say, you know, I just kind of want to walk through again and just take a little
That's above my pay grade.
So, okay.
Plain and simple.
All right.
I do not have the authority to allow people to walk through the building.
And we are gonna need to communicate that when we put this out, because before the damage was done, we were going to have another
That's
walkthrough where
correct,
people
yeah.
could take whatever they wanted, you know, off the walls or whatever, the little mementos, but that's not gonna happen now, so we need to put that message out.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But people are very curious about the auction, we have been getting a lot of calls, so we could couch, you know, that in there, so I think Christine's back there making a note of that, right? Okay.
If I could make a request, you've commented several times about promoting this auction because of all the phone calls that have come in. Could I work with Mr. Brigatti to make sure that the proper information goes out to as many people as possible?
Yeah, the person you'd want to probably reach with, and I'll put you in connection with, is Christine Stewart. She's our communications and community relations coordinator.
Okay, great. I look forward to talking with you, Christine.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
I don't have any questions for you. I have a question. So when you talked to Mr. Brigatti, he said it's safe for people to come in for short periods of time. Like, I'm trying to understand what he said because he's not here.
When he said, did you get the binder?
Yeah.
I said, yes, I did. And he said, I'm not gonna be at the meeting, so I just wanted to assure you that I had spoken to the person. And again, I don't remember the name from Gandhi. Thank you. And he said that, because it had dried out, they were able to turn the heat on and dry it out, that it was much better now, so the areas that had the heavy damage would be excluded from places that they would be able to take place, so they wouldn't be able to walk through those areas, but the other places were better. So they would only be in there a short period of time to go in there. And I said, you know, my concern obviously with people that would be in there for any length of time, including like our staff and them. So he said that he did not feel it was a concern, but based on what the other person said, which I don't remember their name. So that did make me feel better about allowing people to come in to claim their auction items.
Kind of a moot point, though, since they don't have to come in.
That does make it better.
Still, I do agree, we should, you know, get something in writing, saying that we can go in the building.
Yeah, and that is a great
Yeah.
suggestion.
For
Now that
that-
you've said
for
that,
that.
that makes
Right.
good,
We
great
will have
sense.
we'll have a webpage dedicated to the auction that people will be able to go to, and our terms and conditions and major things like no walking through the building unattended.
Right.
Those major points of the terms and conditions will be spelled out boldly. Then the remainder of the terms and conditions, or a complete list of the terms and conditions, will be found later on in the webpage. If I could wrap up real quickly, as a graduate class of 1974, I have been blown away by the things that have changed since I was the last graduating class at Broad Street School before they tore it down. So I'm just over 40, I think. But it has been a pleasure, and I want to compliment the board and all the teachers and all of the staff that are here. I'm just literally blown away by what has taken place here in Cuyahoga Falls, and I'm very proud.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
74, you baby.
Any other questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
No, based on the information I have at this time.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Okay. Dr. Stelka?
Thank you. It is recommended the Board of Education grants the Cuyahoga Falls City School District high school diplomas to the following students, contingent upon their successful fulfillment of all the State of Ohio and Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education adopted requirements.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, this is our good news, right? So
Exciting.
we-
Yeah.
I'm actually going to make one remark here. I was going to save it for my comments, but it's relevant here. So we have 259 students that are on the list. We're hopeful that we know that some are at risk, and we are working extremely hard, but so that number may, you know, unfortunately go down a little bit. But I just want to make this one note. I'm very moved and touched and appreciative of the effort that our staff has put forth to get some of these students across that stage. And it's things that you don't hear about. My phone today, a text of a young lady that I know pretty well. One of our social workers is sitting there after school today doing her online learning with her to make sure that she gets the work done.
That's great.
So and there's more of those stories. We have students who are living couch to couch, home to home, who are really in, in tough situations. And we're doing everything we can. And I just truly appreciate the efforts of our counselors, of our social workers, of our teachers, those who are just advocate for these children, because without them, some of these children would not be walking across that stage. So
That's right.
I just want to say that.
That's right.
Any other questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye. Okay, your comments?
Thank you. Just gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna talk about a couple things that took place this week. One being the Preston Zoo trip. So that was, their last hurrah that they were really excited to be able to do for every single student. They had parents there. I actually went for about an hour and a half and walked around with the students. It was a nice day.
Did you
Boy,
see
I don't know
Baby
if it was
Giraffe?
pouring rain if I would have gone, but pardon?
Baby giraffe. Did you see the baby
I didn't
giraffe?
see the baby
No,
giraffe.
it wasn't out?
I saw lots of monkeys were very active. And the carousel, they had they did it all. So that was really nice. They had t-shirts. I got a t-shirt. We were nice and bright. We could find each other. So that was fun. Kids had a great time. And then I saw them again this morning at another field trip. And then I just want to take a moment to to thank the mayor and all of Mary Spoggy, and who also helped organize with Jen Scala for our district. She put together, and it's today and tomorrow, and this was a result of our business alliance where we were trying to make career connections to our elementary folks. So they actually met at the pavilion this morning. I was there at 9 o'clock to greet the mayor, and he gave a speech to the students from, it was DeWitt and Price and Preston that were there today. And they had a talk about city government, and then from there they went to the fire station, Pilgrim Church, and Riverfront. And there's a lot of history with the Pilgrim Church, and I'm very excited this summer I'm gonna go. I told Mr. Jones we're gonna do that, the Underground Railroad and the tunnels that lead, so I'm really interested in learning more about that. But it was really nicely organized. It's for third graders, and so tomorrow will be Lincoln, Silver Lake, and Richardson. So they'll be doing the same thing. But I'm just real appreciative for Ms. Scala's work on that and the city's cooperation. That nice little field trip for our students. So just wanted to give a plug there.
Amy Davis used to do that for all the third graders. That was
It was a
her
walking
thing.
field trip.
Nice, that's what they did. They
You went
walked.
to the Gorge, which you can't go to now, but yeah. You went to the Sheraton to see the river. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. They got to be one of the first to go under the bridge, the Broad,
Oh, yeah.
Broad
Yeah,
Street.
that's
yeah,
right.
instead of going 200 kids going across the
Yeah.
Broad Avenue. Hey, everybody wait. It's going to be
Broad
about 20
Boulevard.
minutes.
That's so convenient.
Broad Boulevard.
Broad Boulevard, yes, sorry. Yes, I'm not good with my streets.
Yeah, Amy Davis did that for all her third
yeah.
graders.
Yeah, so they did it district-wide. I asked if we could do it district-wide, and Ms. Scala took on the challenge, and she did it, so.
Was
that
it
a
part of
great-
like the America 250?
I don't think it was related.
We
It was
can
more
claim
related
it.
to our
We'll
business.
claim
America
it. We'll
250.
claim it, Ms. White.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
We'll claim it for America 250.
Yeah, we could. It aligns perfectly, I think.
Yeah. Well, I know many of you will be mentioning other events, so I won't steal that. There's so many things coming up, one of which is the most exciting for us is graduation on the 19th, so looking forward to that. But I'll defer to the rest of you on the rest, so thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Selka. This is item I, board business. We have 2 requests to address the board this evening. When I call your name, please come to the podium. You have 3 minutes to address the board. There'll be a timer on here. It makes a little audible ding when your time is up. Tradition of our board is that we don't gavel you down right at the 3 minutes. We just ask that you complete whatever sentence you're in the middle of. If you go on for an extended period of time from that, then we'll ask you to wrap it up. The first person I have tonight is Miranda DeVore. Okay. We'll have that. And then the next person I have is Robert Turney. Thank you for coming tonight.
Tell me when to start.
Whenever you're ready.
Good evening, members of the board and the community. My name is Robert Turney, and I'm a business owner and a property owner in Cuyahoga Falls. Over my 75 years, I've been a law enforcement officer, a security director of 2 large businesses in northeastern Ohio, and I was saddened to hear that a gun made it into the school system here, especially in a new building. I just feel that metal detectors are necessary in 2026 and are a pillar of every school that is being built. Monitored camera systems, not just camera systems that record, but with professional monitoring personnel all times when the schools are open, monitoring it. These things can be done both with your police departments and security departments. There are grants and other things available. The other thing that Miranda DeVore was going to mention was the safety of these children parking all over the neighborhoods right now. It just draws it. The parents are just terrified of what could or could not happen out in these neighborhoods. As of yesterday, the terrible incident in Wayne County where the sheriff himself was stabbed trying to talk to an individual along the side of the road. He and his sergeant were both stabbed. Just on a routine, nothing was going on call, just a man walking weirdly along the road. And they're both were hurt. This is the kind of thing that the parents who work for me at my businesses, I hear and have to listen to. Being a security professional and being a policeman and a MP, why is nothing being done? You know, they're like, well, this has got to be tightened up. I will sum up with, I would be happy to volunteer to either meet with your safety committee, help form a safety committee. I've got over 45 years of experience in both safety, security, and taking care of people and property. And I have so many resources, and there are so many grants right now in our country for this type of thing. That's it.
Thank you. We'll go out of order, and we're going to do the first read of the elementary handbook. So this is the first read. It'll be on for approval at the next meeting. If you have any questions, please direct those to Mr. Elder. And then next is first reading of the secondary handbook. Same as above, it'll be on for approval at the next meeting. If you have any questions, please reach out to Mr. Elder. I do have one question, Mr. Elder. Do we send these out electronically, or do we provide hard copies of these?
So as of right now, we are keeping these electronic and printed upon request.
Okay.
Hmm?
If we have questions about this, do we ask you now? Do I email you? Or?
Either or.
Either or.
I guess I did read through these. So in the cheating sections in both, we don't discuss AI, use of AI, and I don't know if it goes in here or we need an AI policy of what, explaining to students and parents what cheating with AI is, or just saying that you can't, just addressing it. So that was one comment. The parts about electronic devices, does Ohio state law not require us, they can't have them now? Isn't that a state law?
From bell to bell during the instructional day?
Yes.
Okay, so personal technology devices will be permitted to be used for, it wasn't clear to me that our handbook what's the word I'm looking for? Matches the law.
Has caught up with the law.
Yeah, yeah.
The law changed officially in January.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So
all right, so you're probably ahead
we
of
adopted
me.
a policy. What you're going to see here are a lot of featured links directed to the policy.
Okay.
Part of the challenge is, as policies and laws are changing, sometimes mid-year, it seems to be more effective to have a link so that when we change one thing, we don't, we don't have to change it in 5 different places.
Incorporate by reference.
Correct.
Basically. Yeah. Okay.
So that policy will be referenced, a new link, all the links that you see here, the hyperlinks, when you look at it electronically, all those will be refreshed so that it represents whatever new policy is created, or it'll take you to a web page that allows you to view a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
Mrs. Zimmerman, can you give me that reference you were just looking at? I do want to check something out, though, that you said.
About the
electronic device.
that is in the secondary handbook, page 17.
Okay. Thank you.
Item T. And then the other sort of relevant to our speaker, in the secondary handbook under procedures, student driving and parking lot regulations, we do say students shall not park on community streets near the school in order to respect parking for those living and visiting within the neighborhood. So we're not going to allow them to park on the streets as per this handbook.
That has been in the handbook since I took over
Okay, all right.
the handbook.
So that is a little, that could have some more meaning now. Are they not, and can we tell them they can't park on community streets?
No, we probably should look at that as well.
And so I would, yes, so, and then also add business lots to that.
Yes.
Because we've had to tell our students over and over, they can't park in neighboring business lots. So I think that should be considered. I think those are my main. I think that was it. And some of those might apply to the elementary as well, but it was the same kind of thing.
for our elementary school drivers?
The AI cheating, yeah, no elementary school, park on the street,
They should,
students can park
right.
on the streets. Well, I actually was thinking about bicycles, because some students ride their bicycles, so I don't know if we need to say something like, you know, you're responsible for securing your bicycle, or
They do, and
There-
the
there's-
e-bikes too now.
there's nothing in here addressing kids that might, and maybe there doesn't need to be, but my son rides his bike sometimes, so.
Okay.
Just something to consider.
And so the e-bikes, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw several of those today.
Right.
Yes.
So,
They're there.
What I don't know is that if there's been any city ordinances that have banned the use of e-bikes, like on city sidewalks, depending on the speed. I know in some cities that's been
20
the
miles
case.
per hour.
I wish that
Yes.
they would, because
Yeah.
my 12-year-old wants a motorbike. I keep saying no, so they should outlaw it, but that's a different issue. I don't know about the vote.
That's different. That's a whole different conversation.
Whole different conversation.
Ms. Schaefer, I know you had several questions. I sent an email to answer
Yes,
those.
thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Elder. Okay, we're gonna go back to levy discussion. Ms. Stoikoi.
I'm gonna bring the mood down, sorry. No one wants to talk about levies. Okay, so we're just gonna go over, I've kind of given some, couple different scenarios for both property, and income tax, and kind of just the overall, since income tax is something we've not done, just the general like idea and like what it is and the stipulations and things like that, just so you have that information. So, go, okay, Cavs are playing here, probably really soon, so, whatever. As a refresher, we just want to talk about the cost savings, which we've done a couple times tonight, but the cost savings that are already either in the, have already happened or in the process of happening. So obviously we've closed an elementary school. We eliminated open enrollment starting next year. We are in the middle of sale of buildings property for 4 different properties / buildings. We, along with the next 2 kind of go along. A year ago, we had to do our financial recovery plan with the Department of Education. So we deferred curriculum and technology adoptions. We started staff reductions through attrition that include both or all of administrative, certified, and classified staff. And we got that number of just what this year is earlier. So there have been a number of items we've done to try to stay solvent without getting to this point, but here we are. So property tax, so just, you can pull the other one up too, yeah. So for reference, 1 mil generates about $1.28 million, and that's as of the last, this. Now that will change, it will not change for a November levy. What it will change is if something happens and we need to, something doesn't pass or things like that will change because this year's a reappraisal year for Summit County. So that will change, and it could change significantly. Usually it doesn't in those in-between years, but with a reappraisal, it could. So just as a reference is that, that number is based on what's current right now before that. So this base forecast you'll see is kind of with the updates we have to this point through May. Tax collections were a little under due to delinquencies, even a little bit more than we expected. So there are some differences there. The next forecast is in August, so it's right around the corner. But, so it's been updated a little bit from what you saw in February. So based on that, this is what it says, levy millage needs estimator. So you can see the top is if each of those calendar years, so 26, 27, 28, the lower range mills to the higher range mills. So the lower range will give you about a 3-year levy life cycle, while the higher range would trend toward a 5-year levy life cycle. Obviously, as things change, you know, this is only a guide based on what we know right now. So as things change, that may also change. But that's kind of how the forecast goes anyway. Also, just as a reference, so right now our forecast only goes out to 2030. And so you see 31 and 32 out here. Just so you know, like they base those numbers based on like a 5-year historical trend. So like that's not an option for me within my software to be like, let me put in this stuff for, you know, like whatever my assumptions are, things like that, that I know or don't know. So it's just based on trend from the last 5 years in each of those categories. So, you know, obviously those are quite a number of years out. So there's that, but it does give the extended look kind of at if things were to continue along those same trends, what we're looking at in those years. And obviously in August 2031 will be part of the forecast that I present. Technically, the Department of Education, if you remember, is only doing 4 years. So right now, 26 through 29 is technically what's required. We still remain with the 5-year, and this one shows about a 7-year. So go ahead.
This is basically saying the longer it takes us to pass a levy, the more we'll have to ask for.
Yes. So what happens is so if you pass in 26, it's effective for that tax year, but collection doesn't happen till the following year in 27. So there's the tax year and then the collection year. So each calendar year you get out, you're delaying those collections for a year, and so that's why it increases as time goes on, because it's assuming nothing else is changing in this forecast, which obviously we know we would have to if different, you know, if at any of these points maybe something doesn't happen or a levy doesn't pass, but this is assuming everything stays the same and looking at when that would start to be collected. And you'll see that in the next, in the scenarios, there's a line for, you can see up top, there's nothing there now, but where it says proposed new levies, you can see. So these are all based on the fact of November of 2026. So,
and the less we ask for, the more often we'll have to ask for more.
Correct. Correct. As it says, you know, your lower range here is more of a 3-year to a 5-year, and even that, as you'll see, it still doesn't really. It may get us in the positive ending balance, but I'm not sure if some of the scenarios solve the problem of expenditures over revenues. But we'll kind of look at that, and then I kind of compiled that at the end so you could see it in a snapshot of all the scenarios.
Just to get to that, I think we should ask for what we need, whatever that number is, and just be honest with our community. That's what we did in 2019. We asked, it was a 9.97 ask. That's a lot of money. I'm not, and
Yes.
when I met with people one-on-one, I looked them straight in the eyes and said, I will not tell you that this is not a lot of money. A 9.97 mill levy is a lot of money to ask of people. I can't look at someone and say that is not a lot of money. So,
just for reference, just so I can point this out, in 2019, a mill was about 750,000. So it's significantly different, just
it's
as
different.
an FYI.
But, you know, you have to just lay out what the needs are and explain to people, this is what we need. I understand it's a lot of money, and then you have to make the decision as a voter. Do I value this, and can I afford it? Those are the two things I would ask people when I met with them. I hope you value it, and I hope you can afford it. And both of those questions I can't answer for other people at the end of the day. Those are personal decisions people have to make.
So we'll go into, I've done about, I think, 4 different property tax scenarios. Now, the one is not truly a recommendation, but it is just, this first one is just to show what 1 mill will do. So you can kind of have that as a baseline as far as what a collection looks like of 1 mill, and like if you were to do, you know, kind of get into the halves. I've done whole mills as your, you know, scenarios, but if you got into the, you know, 3.5 or 4.5, this is kind of just a base for you to be able to have a number here on 1 mill. So you can see that we are still starting in 29. We have a revenue, we have a deficit, we're deficit spending, and we are also still in the red with our ending cash balance. I should also point out that all of the reductions for next year are incorporated that I know of as of now, and some of it is estimated. Obviously, we haven't rehired, you know, hired some people in positions that have retired that are not being eliminated. It's very few, but you know, we have estimates in there right now. I don't know what kind of health insurance a lot of these people will be choosing until later again. So it's not 100%, but what I do know, and plus my estimates are in there already for those 50 people going into next year. So starting with 3 mills, so looking at kind of the top end of this year is what it says. It was 2.68, I believe. Same thing, still deficit spending starting in 29. However, the district would stay solvent in an ending balance until about 2032. 2031's real tight. I mean, $47,000 isn't going to get us far there. So, but it is in the black there, and you can kind of see the differences that just the two mills makes between the two there. 4 mills. So we've pushed out, we start deficit spending in 2030 here, but cash balance wise, we are good through 2032. And then obviously, little same scenario, except for 5 mills, deficit spending is in 2031. Again, 31, 32, there's a lot of unknown factors. As we always say, years 4 and 5 of the forecasts are subject to significantly change depending on things like health insurance and staffing and a number of things like that, mandates that, you know, we don't expect that could happen, that aren't funded. But in 2031, 32, still deficit spending, but a healthy cash balance through the entire period that is shown here for the 5 mills.
Can you give me the amount that a mill brings in again? Sorry, it's not on here.
It's on.
Where is it at?
It's at the very top of the first one.
Where?
Nope, go back. Yeah.
Okay.
Up in the top of that. So, yeah.
Why do we always end up deficit spending in the projections?
I mean, some of it again is based on trends of things, and so like I said, I can't go in there and alter those, but you can see, you know, it's adding about 2 million each year, whereas you can see that's not necessarily what's happening in these other years. It is assuming trend of negotiation raises. It's assuming trend of, if we had, you know, we did Preston and Price and we put air conditioning in. So it's considering that as well, as part of the percentage trend over those 5 years, which may be higher than what we need, it may not be. So unfortunately, I couldn't get into like that's not a part of it because it's only 5-year forecasts, that software, but it does give us this for levy purposes in that, for these, like once you get to like 4 or 5 mills, I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into that deficit spending. I mean, $1 million 5 years out can be easily remedied. It can be, there are so many factors going into that could change that. Could also change it the other way, just depending on what things hit. We've got insurance in there of 10% each year, which we're hoping one of these days it's not any, that we're going to get, something good like we've had in the past. So it does have some of those things. And if you think, that 10% on 10%, then on 10%, those things, by the time you're getting out to 31, 32, really compound.
So, and we only ever collect X mills.
Correct.
Which essentially, this many mills is not worth as much in the future. So
Correct.
We're always, inflation and costs always
Yes.
go up, and our mills we collect always.
Yeah, the dollar
don't go
amount
down.
that you're going to collect is going to stay
So
the same.
fundamentally, you're always going to have to ask for more money, as long as, through no fault of our own, because
Yes.
costs go up
Yeah.
out of our control.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we wouldn't go forever, like, okay, we're good, and, obviously, that happens, and these are our revenue sources. And yes, they're flat, and then they're also going to, if we were to ever be on the 20 mil floor, all of that stuff is tied to inflation now. Our inside millage is tied to inflation. We lost, money on that as well, that we would have normally seen, so there are certain issues like that.
If we go for 5.5 mils, it'll, over the life of the levy, it'll bring in an additional 3.2 million, which would clear us through fiscal year 2032, should keep us completely in the black. So personally, if we're here, we need to do tonight is decide what we're gonna do. I think we should ask for what we need, which is 5.5 mils. Based on these projections, would keep us in the black through fiscal year 2032. It would be the typical home in our district in 44221, it's 200,000, so we shouldn't go off of 100,000, and now with the new language, it goes off that
Correct.
anyway.
Yeah.
So 221, which is, we have all of that in the district, $200,000 home, that's $367.50 a year. I'm not saying that's not a lot of money to people. I'm not saying that's not a lot of money to me. But $367.50 a year. I'm not here to say that that's not a lot of money. But I think we should ask for what we need and see what the community responds to. I think we have a good story to tell about academic achievement. I think we have a good story to tell about cost-saving measures. And I think, in June at our work session, we can work on our statement of facts about the realities that our community will face in terms of cuts that will happen if a levy doesn't pass.
Yeah.
Because of what we've cut.
Yeah, and we will have to outline those in August anyway, as we will, that 29 year comes into being the third year of the
And I think
forecast.
that's a good work session topic, just to be honest.
I agree.
And just working together as a board of what we will touch if a levy doesn't pass. But I really believe strongly, if you don't ask for what you need, you're coming back to people sooner, and I don't think they appreciate that, because then it feels dishonest. It feels like you're just coming back to them again and again and again, and then it feels like it starts to create distrust, because are you mismanaging your finances? You were just on the ballot. If that's what we need to stay solvent for as long as possible, that's what we did in 2019. It bought us 7 years. I think we should buy as many years as possible. And then the community responds with their votes however they need to. It's their choice and their vote. But I really
You
feel
can go
strongly.
the next one, just, it's a little bit more, the next, so that's what it looks like. There's one more, I think. Yep. So that's what it looks like there, kind of all comparatively, where we're at. Now I would say, so I'm going to talk a little bit about income tax next. And just hold your thought real quick.
Listen, before last week, I was so
I
on
know,
income
I
tax.
know, I know, but just hear me out.
People were voted down income taxes in places that are very against property tax. So I really thought that we should go for an income tax until I saw income tax, 75% of all income tax levies failed across the state, and more of the traditional property taxes passed.
They did.
And a vast majority of voters in primaries tend to be elderly folks. So these elderly folks came out, were given a choice between property taxes or income taxes, and they passed more property taxes.
Yes, they did. I have some other data I do want to show you, and I won't, whatever. Okay, so, oh my gosh, please stop turning over the ball. What are you doing? You look like when my child played in 2nd grade. Okay, they did better the last 2 games, but what was, that was me watching the game. I'm that kid. Like, what are you doing? Boy, that's what I yell at my kids for when I'm watching that. I'm like, Okay, so just a couple quick things just to go over for those of you who do not know much or anything about school district income tax. So this is something separate from your federal, your state, your city. A lot of people get it confused with like a city tax. It's completely separate. Who pays the tax? This is another confusing point for people. It applies only to residents of the district, regardless of where you work. It is not about where you work, it's about where you live. So it does not apply to individuals who work in Cuyahoga Falls but do not live here, like a city tax would. It is different from that. It is if you are a resident, if your home is here, no matter where you work, if you have income, that's it applies to you. Term increments, this is where there's a little more leeway than a property tax. So it's levied in increments of 0.25%. It can be continuing or fixed number of years, just like the other ones, but there's no limit on the term. So you could it doesn't have to be 5 years or continuing. It could be 3 years. It could be, 10 years. It could be whatever it is there. So there's a little more flexibility in that. What income is taxed? So there are 2 tax bases. So there's a traditional tax base and an earned income tax base. And I think the next 2 slides are kind of important just to decipher between the 2. So a traditional tax base taxes your Ohio adjusted gross income, which includes all of those things that are listed there, your pension, taxable Social Security, rental income, interest, etc. Income that is not taxed is Social Security benefits, disability, welfare, child support, workers' compensation, those kinds of things are not taxed. That is not part of the base. So part of the characteristics of this is that it's broad. It's a broader tax base. You're hitting more people. The revenue then tends to be a little more stable, and then it's obviously a higher revenue potential because the next one we'll talk excludes some kinds of things. And so on this one, retirees typically pay if they have taxable income. So here is, for us, what that yields, each of those in those 0.25, from 0.25 up to 3. I haven't seen anybody with 1 over 2, but it's just for your reference. So 0.25% is almost 2.5 mils in the traditional tax base. And then your earned income, which is where most people have headed, and if I had to pick between the 2, this is the one I would do. So this taxes only your wages, salaries, tips, self-employment income. It does not tax pensions, Social Security, rental, interest, any of those things that typically, a lot of those are retirees and things like that. So it's a little smaller tax base because there's not as many people. But retirees typically do not pay unless they are working. It can fluctuate with economic conditions because it is not, it's eliminating kind of that stable pension or benefit that you're getting every year. And it requires a little bit higher of a rate to generate something similar to the traditional tax. But then this is what it looks like. It's not that significant. It's, 1% is 8.84 mils, 0.25 is 2.16. So this is what most districts have put on. Some of them do have traditional, but this is what most districts have put on to kind of provide some relief to their retirees or senior citizens that may be struggling with property tax because they are on fixed incomes, and this essentially, unless they're working or have some other things, they don't pay this. And this is just what it looks like together, just kind of a view so you can put them up against each other. So you can see the difference in, millage types and things like that. Couple of things that can be done on the next page, kind of frequently asked questions. So can property tax millage be reduced to compensate for the increases in revenues due to a passage of an income tax? Because the benefit of an income tax is that it grows. To your point of this is a property taxes, this is what the millage is, this is what the dollar amount is. With this, it grows with income, people's income. The percentage we collect doesn't, but obviously if their income grows, the dollar amount we collect grows. So it could have a little more sustainability long-term as to not having to come back as often maybe as a property tax because you are seeing growth. But they do let you, there's one of two ways you could let any property tax levies expire, or you can actually write it in to your ballot language to say if this passes, we will reduce the existing property tax X. And so just for reference, a couple of the scenarios I've included because it happens to time up exactly with our emergency levy renewal, what that would kind of look like, just so you can see. Income tax, no, we've talked about this, not the same as a city tax. And then the other one is, when is revenue from the income tax received by the school district? So this is a little different than what a property tax is. Property tax is twice a year. So it will be quarterly. However, it takes about 1.5 years for the districts to receive that full year because it is up to each person to tell their employer. However, let's say I don't tell my employer because I have no idea for whatever reason, and it starts, and then I get to my tax return the next year. Well, they ask the question like, what district do you live in? Like, it will be due then, so even if you don't pay it through your employer, it doesn't mean you just got out of it. It will then be due at the time when you file your taxes. So that is why, for some people, especially in the beginning, it's that 1.5 years because if they miss it during the year, it's not really until when they file their taxes that they're paying for that previous year. That's normally what they say to receive that first full year. So I'll kind of show you got that, we're looking at that, but this is the typical, the typical ramp up of what you receive in those first 5 years. So on average of what they've seen, so it's about 5.9%, which sounds low, but I promise it's a little, it's not as bad as it seems. And then you can see it ramps up, and then at certain points, you're over collecting because you're collecting your current years plus what people may owe back, from their returns and things like that. And then you're always going to be collecting, people are always going to true up on their state tax returns with what they actually owe based on their, the income that's applicable. So, yeah. Hopefully that's going to happen later. So I just did the increments of 0.25 from that up to 1%. So this is 0.25 and 0.5. You can see 0.25 is very similar, and these are all earned income tax. I did not do the traditional tax base. So earned income tax, fiscal year deficit spending, 29 out. In 30 to 32, ending balance is still in the negative. As you see, just on a 0.5%, that gives us an ending balance of that stays positive throughout this whole time frame. And then the revenue deficit does not begin, and it's minimal in year 31 and then also in 32. But you can see in that proposed new line, proposed new levies line, what, like, you can see that, like, it's 163,000 next year, but then you can see how it does ramp up as it goes on and through. So then the next two, a lot of the same here. I was actually a little, like, I was like, this can't be, I had to double check these. Obviously, we've, you know, we don't have an income tax levy. This is the first time kind of delving into it, but both of these scenarios give you a revenue surplus, so revenue over expenditures, actually to a decent amount. It's not just a little bit. And then you can see those cash balances are become ridiculously big. Like, this is too much. To me, in my opinion. You know, we're at 35 million at the end of 32 and almost 21 million at the end of 32 for the 0.75. So you can see how it does, you know, grow, how that is, that growth of, like, you know, isn't necessarily modeled in here so much, again, but it's based on what it is right now. But again, it could be more there. So the next two scenarios are kind of what I talked about, just to show you, if you were to say, hey, if this passes, we will not renew the emergency levy that's expiring, type thing. So other than the 0.75, in year 32, we are deficit spending. We would not be deficit spending with a 1%, and we would be solvent in our ending balances for both scenarios, even getting rid of that emergency levy. That emergency levy is about 3.7 million a year, and would have started in 28 is the first collection year if it were to be renewed in the future. So the next one kind of just brings it all together. Those are the different estimates. Here's what the revenue over expenses looks like compared to the base. The two at the bottom are NR, means non-renewal there. And then our ending cash balance. Oh, yep, there. So solvent in basically all of the years except for 0.25. So in this case, so kind of backing up, because I did want to point out, so in that non-renewal scenario, let's say we were to go ahead and do something like that. Potentially, senior citizens may see a savings. People who are not working or not have income that qualifies, could, if you were to go a route like that, could potentially see a savings by voting for the income tax and that levy dropping off, because they may not qualify to have any fun, you know, any of their money under the earned income tax, but they'd be losing a property tax levy in that scenario. And then just some history. This is the part I wanted to. So these are kind of around here, the ones that have income tax. You can see a couple of them have traditional, but some of those traditional ones were also like 1990, 2000, like they're older. Some recent ones, Norton has one. These are the May results here of what was around us. I do think some of these, I should have put, I don't know why I don't have Wadsworth on there. I think there are some caveats to some of the reasons some of these failed. Some of them were on for a continuing period of time. And I think that can scare people, especially given current climate and things like that. So like Wadsworth was for a continuing period of time. Theirs failed as well. Some of them, others across the state were combined kind of maybe with bond issues. Or things that they were going to move forward, and that may have had an impact on that. I don't know. Typically, May is not the greatest as compared to November. It's not as successful as November. If you hit one more, Ryan. So this is in the past, from 2020 up until this point. You know, you can see there's not a ton that are on every year. So that, but the percentage of passing, other than 24, which isn't even, it's not terrible, and 26, which is terrible, they're most above 50%, some mostly 60% do pass. It's hard to say right now a property tax and income tax, like what people's palates, you know, what they're looking at for any of this. I think people have just had enough, and I don't blame them. I think there does need to be some reform to property taxes. It just we have to have a plan behind it, not just get rid of it and hope for the best. And so I do think eventually this is probably the way things will move, because I don't think people are going to give up on this property tax thing, and you can only do so many legislative things to try to cap and do this. And, you know, House Bill 920 was supposed to take care of that, you know, helping people not be priced out of their homes and things like that. And we've obviously hit a point in time in the last 10 years where that's not happening now either. And you know, there've been a number of legislative changes in order to remedy and give some relief to property tax owners, which understandable. But I just did want to give you the background on that. I personally would lean towards an income tax levy, but I also understand, you know, the recent results. I personally just think the income tax is, if you can get it to pass, it's going to sustain you a little bit longer than a property tax. And you know, I see a benefit in that long term. Now, again, what is the appetite of the community for something like that, or in general? I don't know.
Can I ask a question
Yeah.
at that point with Christy's comment? Have we in the past surveyed the city? Like, has that been a strategy of the levy to put a survey out to gauge where people are at property versus income tax? Like, to just
We
get a
can't,
feel?
well, that's not something we can comment on because that would be a levy committee activity. So the board couldn't comment on that. We have to separate ourselves from the two. The board can't comment on levy committee activities.
Not even whether it has happened in the past or not?
We can't. We have to keep a wall.
It could be a strategy.
Well, we have to decide tonight. So I get how you're saying there's a strategy, but we need to make a decision tonight.
You need to make a decision tonight. Is
Of
what
what
you're
we're
saying,
going to
property
do,
or
yeah.
Yeah.
And any survey would take at least a month.
Take care, Leslie.
So that's not.
I guess I didn't realize we were making that decision.
Yeah, so there are, along with this, it's kind of the same process, 2 resolutions, certified, you know, same timeline. So that second resolution has to be done, I have to have by beginning of August. So 2 separate board meetings for 2 separate resolutions. Once, you know, that information, it's the similar process for both options in that.
So you're saying we need two board meetings?
Yeah, there'll be 2, in order to put it on, something on the ballot, we'll have to have 2 board meetings between now and the end of July that they can take action on that are separate board meeting, because one is to get a certification, so then that goes to the county, and then once we get that back, we would do the second resolution to put it on.
So if someone makes $100,000, that's their adjusted income, they'll pay $500, 0.5%, they'll pay $500. If they owned a $200,000 house and we did the 5.5 mil levy, they would pay $367. But if we phased out a property tax, that they would pay less property tax, and maybe it would be kind of a wash, just in that scenario. I guess.
Yes, it would be different for everybody, because it depends on your income, it depends on the value of your home.
Well, and how many people are working within your home?
Here's my theory. The people that are always gonna vote against the levy are still gonna vote against an income tax. However, people that traditionally have voted for our property tax levies have been from our higher income areas of our district. They are therefore less likely to vote for an income tax because it is going to hit them harder.
Yeah.
So then we're starting with our pot of no voters who are going to vote no matter what. And then our pot of yes voters are from our higher income areas of our district who are then less likely to vote for an income tax because an income tax is a form of a wealth tax. And they are then less likely to vote for a tax that's going to take more money out of their pocket.
And we need like almost, what was it, 75 cents or $1 if we tried to tell people that we'll get rid of the emergency.
Correct,
fund.
yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big ask, I think, personally.
You don't have to include anything like that, but it would be a caveat of, you know, for, like I said, potentially there'll be some people that will pay, you know, everybody would save some sort of money, most likely. Now, your higher income may not. Some people may save a significant amount of money if they have no earned income.
Yeah.
I don't know what the census data necessarily of that is in Cuyahoga Falls, though, you know.
It surprises me that I think we're in an anti-tax climate currently, and that explains the failure, but, I would think that a income tax would be palatable on the flip side of this discussion, to a lot of people, especially retirees, people who are very concerned about property tax. From a school board perspective, it's attractive because it, as you said, continues to grow, and it's a lot more. So it's difficult. I wish that we could get more data and on people's.
But people have also never voted for an income tax before, and people are much more likely to vote against something that they don't understand.
That's what I'm worried about.
Right. It is a messaging. I think it would take a lot of outreach messaging, marketing.
That's what, glad you said that.
I'm not opposed to trying an income tax at some point, but I think we're up with everything we're up against. Going with what people know is going to be more palatable. Also knowing that people are voting down income taxes. I mean, Norton had a huge pro-levy campaign. I was surprised at the margin Norton had. Their community, I drove through it like a week before the levy. Their community was peppered with pro signs, very pro signs. One of the people I work very closely with at work with lives in Norton, hadn't heard a peep of any negativity about it, and it went down.
One of the things that I was looking at was how much they're asking for. So if we're going for 0.5% or 0.75, like I think that's relevant. You know, Parma 1.75. That's a lot in a paycheck.
That's on the very, like I said, I have not seen any that have even asked more than 2.
Well,
And those are rare. Those are, and most of them are 1 and under for the most part.
I think the other relevant piece, I was talking with the mayor this morning, as a matter of fact, because I just wanted to be reminded of what the city's income tax currently is. So people are already receiving a 2% tax. You know, whereas I don't know what these cities are, for example, like I don't know what Parma's current one is, you know, what the city gets or charges. So that
A lot of
could
our
just say
people
Cuyahoga
work in
Falls is
Akron, and Akron's 2.5.
Yeah, but he said Akron.
So if you work in Akron, you pay 2.5, even if you're a Falls resident. Okay. Who would support an income tax?
I would support an income tax, but I will also support a traditional.
I would not support an income tax at this time.
I think I'm afraid of it because of the massive
Support the levy.
failure that I've seen across the districts.
So you,
I was,
okay.
I
Are
was
you
kind of.
a no on income?
I think I'm a no for it right now.
Okay, so we can't get to 4 votes on that. It
As I
takes
said-
4 votes, so
yeah.
I'm just trying to move us along.
I will say, I will say,
Traditional and
It
see-
takes
see
4
what
votes to
happens.
put a levy on the ballot, so I'm just trying to
we
be
have typically
realistic with where we're
done
at.
the resolutions in June.
Yeah.
So if anybody did want to sit on it, it would be okay to sit
Yeah.
on it and come back to the next meeting and give me that. That would give me enough time to do that. But that's, I don't want to push anybody one way or the other.
I'm
but
not
if anybody
opposed to
feels
income
like
tax forever, I just don't want to try it in November, if that makes sense.
Well, and waiting till June does not give us time to, or not us, but a committee, an unrelated committee, to do the kind of research that would
Right,
help
it
us
just-
understand
yeah.
if our community would support it.
I don't think we've ever tried an income tax.
No.
they're not until of recently. They're not popular around here. They're very popular in southern Ohio where there's a lot of farmland, and people own a lot of property and a lot of, it's valued very high. So they're very popular down there. These ones, you can see like Wayne is starting to kind of get into like, very rural, more rural, where they've had them for 2005, 2008, 1990, they have those. Around here, Berkshire's had theirs for a while in Cuyahoga, but that's also pretty rural. And then you've got your, Norton has one, Garfield has one. Garfield has 1.5%. Northwest, Cloverleaf, and then out in Mahoning, a couple of them. So they're starting to pop up more now than they have before. Before they were predominantly in rural areas that did not, were not wanting a property tax.
Are we okay with 5.5 mils? Where are people at on that?
That would be about 367 for a $200,000
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. 5 mils is 350.
And that gets us
Solvent
comfortable
through 2032.
32, yeah.
Yeah, and I can, again, if you, we're okay, like, to do the 2 meetings in June. If you want me to actually run that, give it to
Yeah.
you, and then
Yes, please.
you can come back on the next meeting and I can still get stuff, like, the general outline of stuff started with the
Yeah.
attorneys for stuff. Just the specifics, you guys can, take the 2 weeks. I'll get you what 5.5 is and,
Okay.
that way you have it like in front of you visually.
Is that enough direction for now?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
just to reiterate, we have to do something, or
Yeah.
we will be forced to do something as of August. So, I don't know.
Yes.
And then our
Saying
work
that again.
session in June, we'll work on statement of facts and what we're gonna put into that or not. Okay.
Yep. Good.
And so that'll be a future agenda item.
I have one more slide. Hold on. This is the most important slide.
Oh, 'cause it's your
I had to finish this is the spring sports season, which we decided to pick up another sport, so we were doing 2. And flag football was the new one, which
yeah?
is really, really fun to watch.
Yeah?
It is very fun to watch. Like I knew it would be fun. I would like watching my kids, but I was surprised about how entertaining.
Mrs. Zimmerman went to a game.
I am. It's fun, and they all are in one place and everything. There's one more, I think, Brian. Yeah, that's my other one. She also played, but she got in there. So, in the discus, though, Morgan has taken 3rd in every invitational. 3 is her lucky number. So we have our fingers crossed that she can make it to state this year. So she will be actually throwing at Woodridge tomorrow for the league meet. So
They're all over the place.
Future agenda items, we have our retiree celebration at the next meeting. As a reminder, please come early to mix and mingle, and then we're working on our work session for June. Is there anything else at this time? Okay, committee reports, Mr. Harris.
We had BAC, Business Alliance Council. Dr. Selico mentioned, we were at Joshua's, fantastic. I want to thank the students. They always do such a good job. I couldn't make it last year. I didn't make it, I think, the year before, but the spread is just incredible. I mean, it was awesome. A big pile of bacon. I loved it. But yeah, you gave the update on Mescala. It was great to see, that they're going around the city doing all that stuff, and I think you gave a few updates yourself on, just some of the. Actually, you mentioned, and I love that idea of visiting some of our actual programs, getting into the school a little bit with some of the BAC folks. So looking forward to that. But that's about it. And then no legislative.
Okay. For mine, athletics, we have a meeting scheduled. Board policy, we have a meeting scheduled. Community engagement and empowerment team. We did have a meeting, and we had a speaker come in and speak about wellness, and then Mrs. Hausman is going to come up and speak about an adjustment to the daytime event for our students.
The update about our, the family event, how we changed, or I'm sorry, the children visiting their schools, how we changed course. Yeah. So, if you can come up and say, yeah.
Just going to give a very brief update on that.
So thank you again for having me. So due to that, we had some evening events with our families, and there were some changes that had occurred with students, and open enrollment had been modified and so forth. We thought that the events that we had planned in the evening was a better way to support our students moving forward. Also then at open house in the fall, we will be more strategic and have that, because we'll know the families and all the children will definitely be there. And any new family, we can do some more orientation for them. So, so yes, we did shift that event, and we appreciate you understanding why we did that. And, we apologize that we publicly shared that, and we rarely want to make a change like this when we announce something publicly, so please accept our apologies that we made that change.
Thank you, Mrs. Hausman.
Okay.
Mrs. Zimmerman.
We have a financial advisory committee meeting on Tuesday, and then our alumni association had our alumni and distinguished service awards dinner, and then our awards ceremony for those people and our graduating seniors who received scholarships last Tuesday, which was a very celebratory event, and they gave away almost 70 scholarships. I think they were able to give a scholarship to pretty much everyone who wanted one, or who applied, who met their application requirements, and then they also gave a bunch of teacher grants. So it was just, our alumni association really works hard and is a great organization. So, and they know all the historical information of everything that's ever happened in the district. So it's good for a newbie to be part of. So that's my report.
Thank you, Ms. White.
Yes, the core team met and we just went over, there's like 9 total items open on the punch list. Just kind of closing everything up. This will probably be done in August, I think, would be our last meeting. But, just starting to get everything done, the tabletops in the digital art room, and just some things in the science room tops need to be replaced. I'm just gonna quickly, because there is a lot, but it's not a lot, most done, but Bolick is gone totally, if you didn't notice when you came in. It's like, gosh, where'd it go? It's wild. Yeah, but it is done. So that is good. That is done. The parking lot will start being done. Let's see, the bleacher repairs in stadium are going on. The middle school bleachers, you can't, I don't know, it was something about sticky, you can't get anything to stick on them. So we're trying to work that out. And then just, basically, just the last minute work that needs to be done, to paint off the handrails, paint on the walls. We know that some of our walls have been marked up in the middle rooms, just things like that we're gonna have to look at. And then the parking lot will be done. Everything by 8/14 should be done, gone. So that'll be nice. I mean, it'll all be finished by the 14th of August, I think they said. So,
Thank you. Mrs. Schaefer?
I don't believe I had any.
Okay. Okay, comments, Ms. White?
oh, yes, well, I'm not gonna do as many as I had because it's so late. And I don't wanna keep everybody here. But I did have a few things. I did wanna say again, congratulations to our preschool. I did read in the notes, so I'm glad Ms. Hausman made that presentation and they were all here. But that is really something when you think about how well the work they've done in 1 year to earn that gold star. So congratulations to those folks again. I also wanted to talk about Ms. Stoikoi and the new roar. I love these because they're just readable and anybody can understand them, including me. And you know, not that but whatever. So, you know, the lottery. And it's only like, and I'm gonna be fast, but if you get the roar, read it, because she does it so succinctly, so well, that you can understand it. But we only get like 25 cents of every dollar in ticket sales. So again, the state is not fully funding us. And again, please vote for people that support public education. I also had a little thing in the Akron Beacon about universities, Akron and especially Kent. Kent State's facing challenges while still conducting important research, educating key healthcare workers, and making its marks in those programs. But adjusted for inflation, the state's support for Ohio's universities is 27% lower today than it was in 2005. So here again, wonder why colleges are so expensive? Oh, gee. Again, vote for people that support public education in our public schools. I can't tell you how much it was when I went to a school, but I could work and pay my way through college. Kids can't do that today, and that's a shame, because we have some smart kids in this district that cannot afford to go to college. And to me, that hurts us all. And so please, when you vote, please vote for those that support public ed. I also attended the foundation, Alumni Foundation. I was gonna read a little bit of this, but it's so late. I'll just kind of go along with Ms. Zimmerman. We had one distinguished service award, Susan Keller. Everybody knows her, that you see her around. John Fume, I think, who, gosh, his bio, he was the director of the Akron Art Museum. He served on Stan Hewitt and Weather Vane and so on and so on, just amazing. And then Jeff Iola, who is my friend, and he's just so funny. But he was wonderful. They did give all the teachers, everyone that asked or applied for a grant got it, and all the students that applied for scholarships received them. So thank you to the alumni. I also wanted to say that I did get to attend the art walk. I think we talked about that. Yeah, okay. Well, luckily I went there at 4:30, and just as I was leaving, an hour later, I missed the rain. But it was so wonderful to see all the kids, the wonderful art. They had done a big cement with the pool and the lily pads with the ducks on them, and then it just poured down, and I felt so bad. But those kids are so talented. Their artwork from the little ones on up. It's amazing what they do. I just am so, I can't believe it. So that was another thing. And then I wanted to do a shout out to the library. Our Cuyahoga Falls Library is once again this year the highest user in, I think it's Sora eBooks in NeoNet Consortium. So that is something. We had 24,304 checkouts this year alone. That's amazing. Our kids are reading. whether, I don't like ebooks, but okay. I'll take it, whatever way they want to read. So congratulations to our wonderful librarians who do such wonderful work for our community. I'll save my book and article for next time.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Just too late.
Yeah, it's been a real busy time, of course, as everyone knows, especially if you're a parent in the district or staff or anybody. I went to the middle school band concert, just immensely impressed with our program. Just really something to be proud of. I was present at the Lincoln and Silver Lake Community Engagement Nights, where we welcomed some of our students who are switching buildings in, and they seemed to go very well. I think it really helped just the families to just be in the space and see that it's full of teachers that are nice and care, and full of new friends for them. And I think the kids I talked to, when I said, how are you feeling about it? Most of them I said, do you think you could be okay here? And most of them were like, yeah, I'll be all right. So I appreciate our families' resiliency and understanding and positive attitudes about it. I went to flag football, so that was fun. Yeah, our good friend. Her daughter is the quarterback, so that was exciting. And then I went with Mr. Harris, Ms. Schaefer, and Mr. Gomez to the Board Leadership Institute in Columbus from the Ohio School Board Association. And just for a day and a half, it was a lot of great information, learned a lot. I sat in on a Purple Heart School session, so I'm hoping, I've been tasked with helping get Silver Lake. And Mrs. Trevelli is here. I've already talked with her about that. So I love that program, supporting our military families. And I see it's not just about military families. It helps all of the students learn about civics and American history and public service. So, and then excited about about an idea I had with, I talked with Ms. Schaefer about the 250th and Ms. Stewart potential. I won't talk about it anymore though until we know we'll do it. Easy. Okay. Local history project.
Right. Oh, really? Okay.
That's it.
Okay. And up next, I made it briefly to the art walk, but I got drenched in the rain. Got to see the duck that Saturday and talk with Ms. Schulman. Mrs. Schaefer and I had a meeting with some Hudson board members about the 6th District Compact. I think we'll share more about that at the work session because we'll need a little bit more time. Went to the elementary welcome night at Richardson. It was really wonderful. I was asked to speak to a local Boy Scout troop about what the school board does. That was really fun. I asked them how much they think we should make per year based on our responsibilities. They said at least 20,000, and then I told them how much we make.
Did you sign up on their requirements for?
Yeah.
Nice.
For Weeblos. And they thought that was really funny. There was an event with the superintendent from Akron, Mary Outley, and we had a nice conversation. She was telling me about all the different things they're doing for the open enrolled students that are coming back to Akron. So it's really nice to hear from that. We had our Northeast Region Executive Committee for Ohio School Boards Association. We had Tom Hosler and Melania Burney from OSBA there to speak to us. I was also at the BLI. I'll share more on that another time. And then Mrs. Schaefer and I had gone down to Columbus the week before for a seminar on what to do when your district is facing a financial crunch. Okay, Mr. Harris.
Oh yeah, just another congratulations to all the amazing folks we recognized tonight. I know we talk a lot of the nonsense business and the levies and all that stuff, but you know, I love what we do, the start of those meetings, recognizing our students, our staff, and all those amazing folks. So just congratulations to them. I was also, I was actually, the art walk, I was on my way down with my son and wife, and the rain happened, so we had to kind of split things up a little bit, but we did get to see a little bit of things. The big duck was the thing Theodore wanted to see the most. So, you know, it kept going up and down, and we could actually see it from our front porch, so we could kind of tell when we could head down there to see it. So just amazing job every year. I made it down to BLI, Board Leadership Institute as well. Sat in some legislative session, sat in a great session. I think it was about from the superintendent partners and something for the superintendent from, I can't remember, Westville? Westerville, I can't read my writing, Westerville City. She gave a fantastic presentation on just, you know, community partnerships and stuff like that and what they've been doing there. So, and then I'm looking forward to graduation. So, yep, that's it.
Mrs. Schaefer?
So I also attended the welcome night. I went to Price, and then I was late getting to do it when I got off work late. I was happy to see all the programs that they had represented there. Like the library was there, they had the Asia program there, PTA was there, and I was late getting to the DeWitt one this week, so I wasn't able to notice how many staff members there, but they had, Price had 10 teachers and 5 support staff there with the students that were leading the tours, and I don't think weren't required to be there, so they just showed up to welcome the kids that were coming in there to transition to the building, which I thought was really nice. And of course, Principal Brown was over there, because a lot of her students will be going over to Price and then over to DeWitt. Also went to Board Leadership Institute. I am going to share just one of my favorite sessions was on brain plus eyes equal keys to supercharged learning. And at OSBA Capital Conference, they had a little booth set up that I also went to that booth, so it's the same people. And I thought it was really interesting because we talk about vision and getting, you know, corrective lenses so you can see what's going on, so you can read. But it's more than just getting a 20/20 vision. There's other connections between your vision and how it speaks to your brain, and I thought it was just fascinating, and I'm just going to share a couple facts that I thought were very interesting. Vision issues can feel like can cause disengagement. Oh, let me put my glasses on, hold on. Feeling clumsy, skipping the lines when you're reading, struggling with spelling, poor handwriting, eye fatigue, feeling overwhelmed, and it can cause just a dislike for reading. And then they said 1 in 8 children have vision issues. They could be caused by ADHD, autism, head and traumatic injuries, dyslexia, and then other types of other physical ailments. And so then with this program that it's the neurological, they call it neuroplasticity. It was helping train the connection between the eye and the brain, and it was actually having a protective effect against future brain injuries like concussions and such. So they worked originally with athletes and college level athletes, and then they brought it to school programming, and they had us do some eye stretches, which I was going to walk us all through, but it's kind of late, so I'm not going to do that now.
I'm just trying to keep mine open.
Yeah, right. And there was one more thing I wanted to share, but my eyes are tired now. And they said 80% of learning is through the eyes. 20% of your calories that are burned are by the brain, despite only 2% of the body's weight, which I thought was interesting. And I did not fact check that, but he seemed very smart. And then inefficient communication between your eyes and brain can lead to mental overwhelm. And 40% of the brain is 100% dedicated to vision, and 80% of the brain can be involved in processing visual information. So I thought it was really interesting how just the connection between how your eyes and your brain speak. It has nothing to, I shouldn't say nothing, it's not just correcting your vision, it is how your eyes are actually communicating with your brain. When she was saying how with your handwriting and, you know, being clumsy and when you're walking and bumping into things and everything. I thought it was very interesting. And they talked about not just dyslexia, but binocular vision disorder.
Oh.
It was interesting. And they have a program in, I think it was Dayton City Schools where they are screening people. And so I put my name and phone number down so that they're gonna call with more information. Maybe we can get a grant and have a program here. It would be great. On my wish list. All right, that is all.
Item J is executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1 and section 121.22G6. It's hereby move the board adjourn to executive session to preview negotiations or bargaining sessions with employees concerning compensation and other terms and conditions of employment, and to discuss details relative to the security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body or public office if disclosure of the matters discussed could reasonably be expected to jeopardize the security of a public body or public office. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Schaefer?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmerman?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
For an executive session at 9:20.